All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour one of John and Jim, and we've got a pretty big day lined up for you because San Diego State will get its season underway at 7:05. Our pregame coverage officially begins at 5 at San Diego State and Stony Brook. We gave away those tickets yesterday right here on John and Jim, and would you know it that as we kick off the season, there's rain in San Diego. It kind of feels like football weather a little bit. We were joking off air, Jim, that when was the last time it rained? I mean, it doesn't even rain in August. You've had 100 consecutive sunny days. We're going to have another 75 consecutive sunny days on the other side. And now you throw in the factor of a little bit of weather here this afternoon as we get ready for San Diego State and Stony Brook. What do you have? You're looking at something like a very quizzically and shockingly.
Well, breaking news in the NFL.
Okay.
Big breaking news. At first, I had to do a double take because Adam Schefter spelled this person's name wrong.
Oh, wow.
The Cowboys are trading all-pro linebacker Micah Parsons. He wrote Micah Packers. Whoops.
Well, but that's Freudian because that's where he's being traded, right?
Yep. Micah Parsons is being traded to the Green Bay Packers. Wow. And he is signing a 4-year, $188 million contract extension. $120 million fully guaranteed, a total of $136 million guaranteed, an all-time record for a non-quarterback.
Well, he wasn't kidding. Remember when he wrote whatever he wrote to start training camp? And then I think we had Cynthia Freeland on, and she was like, I'm like, it's going to get done, right? I said, well, not so fast. When you break someone's bond, it's about more than money. Mm-hmm. Like when you've gone back on your word. And that was something that Micah Parsons did say repeatedly this summer and fall, that he felt like he was misled. I don't know if he said lied to, but he felt like he was misled. So he really did put his foot down. Nobody necessarily forecasted that. 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, the expectation was, it's the NFL. It'll eventually get done. It did not get done.
No.
And he is on his way out of Dallas. What a massive moment for the NFL. Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers days before the start of the season.
It completely fooled me because I'm looking at Adam Schefter's tweet and I read it and it says Micah Packers to the Green Bay Packers. And I immediately thought to myself, oh, that's a satire or this is a parody, whatever. And then you click on it and you're like, oh no, that's Adam Schefter. I don't know what the return is. I don't know what the Packers traded away for Micah Parsons, but wow, that's a pretty big move right there.
That honestly is one of the bigger deals in like modern NFL history, is it not? Arguably one of the best defensive players of his era, moving in his prime as a 25-ish year old, moving from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers, two prominent franchises in the history of the league, just days before the start of the season. I mean, that is a massive move. So the Cowboys trading Micah Parsons, to the Packers. He will sign that. The richest deal in NFL history for a non-quarterback. Didn't necessarily expect to start our off day there for the Padres with Micah Parsons switching hands from Dallas to Green Bay.
One of the biggest NFL scoops of all time, Micah Parsons, a trade in his prime from the Cowboys to the Packers, and he messes up the tweet.
Yeah, but he still had it, right?
No, he still had it. Exactly. And you can edit on social media now, so it's fine. But he hasn't edited it yet, and it still says Micah Packers.
That's hilarious. By the way, he's 26 years old, and he's a 3-time All-Pro, and he's been holding out essentially, and he's going to get the richest deal in the history of the NFL for a non-quarterback. So that is, man, what a start to the year for the Dallas Cowboys, is it not? A team that already was probably on the outside looking in. I forget who we just recently had on and said that even with Micah Parsons, they're probably not a playoff team. And now without Micah Parsons, they're not going to be a playoff team.
No shot.
Clearly in 2020.
No shot. The Cowboys are going to have to rebuild. The Cowboys are probably thinking, look, we have to use the draft picks that we got from Green Bay here, which I'm assuming is multiple firsts.
I would hope so. Getting a player of that caliber, right?
Has to be.
But did the Cowboys have much leverage in this situation with him saying, I'm not going to play for you? As in, could they really afford to wait on it? I do wonder what the deal looks like, because it doesn't seem to me like the Cowboys would have had a lot of leverage if Micah Parsons said, I'm not going to play for you. So that's fascinating.
That is wild. You think Dallas radio is losing their minds right now?
Well, probably with the way the Rangers are playing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Rangers are the number one topic in that town.
So Micah Parsons on the move. We'll react. We'll see if we get details on that trade. Again, here locally, we have San Diego State and Stony Brook tonight. If you missed JD Wicker, you'll hear that conversation coming up. And then, of course, the Padres, unfortunately, from the time that they led the division, remember, they've led the division twice here in August. They had a 1-game lead. They blew it at Dodger Stadium. They had a 1-game lead at Petco Park against the Dodgers. They blew that when they lost game 3 to the Dodgers. And then from that point on, the Dodgers have really picked up their play and the Padres haven't. And now, by virtue of the Dodgers winning again yesterday, the Padres have fallen 2 games out again, Jim, with 28 games to play. It's really 3 games out because the Padres don't possess the tiebreaker. Time isn't over, but it's running out. 28 games. You need to make up 3. You just start doing the math on it. And the Padres are going to have a really good finish or get really fortunate in having the Dodgers fall off.
So we said, look, if you're not going to win the division, at least get the 4 seed, because both routes there give you a home field playoff series in the wild card round. If you didn't get the 2 seed, which right now, oh, shocker, the Dodgers, as it stands right now, are the 2 seed in the NL. And they would get not only home field, but they would get a first round bye right into the division round.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Phillies have fallen off. I think they got swept or they lost 3 straight to the Mets here.
I think they got swept.
So, you know, the way that you finish off the season, you can't coast your way because you could finish anywhere between 6. And I mean, if you play really good baseball, you could finish number 2 in the National League. But look, you are 2.5 up on the Mets. If the Cubs score holds today and they're playing the Giants, they are
winning or losing.
They're winning 3-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Oh wow. Okay.
So if that score holds, you're 2 back of the Cubs, and you're 2 back of the Dodgers, but you're really 3 back because they hold the tiebreaker. The tiebreaker for the Cubs right now, it's pretty complicated. Don't really know, and we tried to look before the show, and it's going to play its way out. But you're looking at a situation where we're all talking about the division 5 days ago. Now it's like, man, are they going to where are they going to be seated? Are they going to be seated 5th seed? Are they going to fall to the 6th? Like, where are they going to end up?
Well, think about it this way, because of everything you just said, the Mets are actually closer to the Padres than the Padres are to winning the division. Don't let the 2 games back fool you, because the Padres are actually 3 games back because of the tiebreaker, which means the Mets are actually closer again to the Padres than the Padres are to the Dodgers. Think about that. It's really tightened up. Now you still have a firm grasp on the wild card, like just making a wild card spot, because Cincinnati's really fallen off. So they're making the playoffs. All right. San Diego remains firmly entrenched in a playoff spot. But I mean, you have a bad weekend against the Minnesota Twins and you're staring down that 6th seed, or you have a bad weekend at Citi Field when they go there in September, and you could be firmly in that 6th seed, depending on how all of this plays out. So it's a big stretch. I mean, again, they're going to make the playoffs.
They are.
And they could win the division. But you got to think about seeding right now if you can't win that division, and you got teams behind you and in front of you, and there's all kinds of things playing out around you. And the Padres haven't played their best baseball since Sunday.
No, they haven't. And it's crazy how quickly things can turn here.
It's been quick.
Because of how close everybody is in the race. And Sunday morning, Padres had a 1-game lead. Or no, sorry, they were tied. No, 1-game lead in the National League West. And now on Thursday afternoon, they're 2 back of the Dodgers, really 3 back. They're 2 back if the Cubs win today of the 4 seed.
Right.
And they're only 2.5 up on the surging Mets for the 6.
Giants just tied the game.
Okay. That's good.
Yep. A lot of scoreboard watching over the following.
There's a lot of scoreboard watching.
Which is fun.
In September. It's the best.
Yep.
I love scoreboard watching.
It is.
Now you also hate scoreboard watching because it's like, you know, you're relying on other teams to get the job done for you. Like last night, the Reds completely useless against the Dodgers this week.
All week, right?
Completely useless. Like talk about just go away. Cincinnati,
kind of rolling over.
Just hey, roll over and dive. You faster, you can't.
And they still play the Padres, right?
They do.
So hopefully they play that way when they play San Diego coming up.
Yeah, and of course you know that they're going to come in here red hot all of a sudden.
Yeah,
it's like, wait, what?
That's how exactly. So I mean, listen, from a Padre perspective, how many times has this happened this decade where they've been close, but then it kind of slips out of your grasp? It's happened over and over again in this division. Now, I don't think it's fully slipped out of their grasp. But as a realist, you can't be selling like, oh, the division, it's still right there for the taking. I mean, just do the math on it. If the Dodgers go 16-12 from here on out, it's not even a good record, really. You have to go 19-9 to win the division. If they go 16-12, if they go 17-11, you got to go 20-8. Right? If they go 18-10, you got to go 21-7. That's the reality setting in of what the Padres have to do. Maybe they do it. They're not playing great teams, but like you can't just walk your way into this. You basically have to start this by like sweeping a series somewhere. Maybe it's Minnesota. Maybe it's when you get back home against Baltimore. You're going to need to rattle off 4 or 5 in a row at some point.
Well, here's the good news. They have plenty of good opportunities to do this.
They do have those opportunities.
They have the Rockies for 7. They have Baltimore for 3. They got Minnesota this weekend for 3. They got the White Sox for 3.
Right.
They finished up their season at home for 3 against the Diamondbacks. Like, they have plenty of opportunities in September to make up some ground here. So this thing isn't like completely over, dead, buried. Like, there's opportunities. The problem is, if the Dodgers are going to play, good baseball against bad teams now and just start, rolling through the bad teams that they play, that's going to be very difficult for you because you're now relying on teams like the Rockies and whatever teams below 500 that the Dodgers play in September as well to help you out. And is that, a situation that is likely? I mean, we'll find out, but I don't know. I mean, the Dodgers now won 4 in a row. And you're looking up at them and you're going to need some help.
What have the Dodgers done since the series at Dodger Stadium? So they go 3-0 against the Padres. They go 2-2 against the Rockies. So that's 5-2. Mm-hmm. They lost 2 out of 3 here, 6-4. They sweep the Reds. They're 9-4. So they've picked up their play since they swept the Padres. I go back to what I said yesterday and you kind of balked at it. I think the Padres need a 14-3 stretch to win the division. I believe that. I think they need one more 14-3 stretch to win the division.
I don't think they need that, but there's
pretty close to it.
But here's the thing: there's good opportunities out there, real good opportunities in September for them to do what you are looking for.
But I think that maybe it's 13-4.
Yeah,
but I'm telling you, to make up ground,
what's in front of them, and they've played really well against bad teams this year.
You're right.
So that at least gives me some confidence that they can do that. It's not like they have a gauntlet of a schedule in September. Like, they have the easiest schedule in September of anybody in baseball, and they have to go out and they have to take advantage of that. So it's right in front of them, and I think they have a good chance to do it. But it just doesn't make you feel good if you're a Padres fan. Looking up today, just 4 days ago, you had the division lead, and now you're 2 back of the Dodgers, really 3 back because they have the tiebreaker.
If you missed our conversation with Kevin Acee yesterday after that loss, you're going to hear from Kevin coming up at 4:30. Plus, we're reacting to the breaking news of Micah Parsons being traded from the Cowboys to the Packers. Imagine being a Dallas sports fan. First Luka, now Micah. We'll react to that. Plus, if you missed JD Wicker, you'll hear a conversation coming up as well. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. I mentioned this on the way out. Again, we're getting you ready for San Diego State and Stony Brook. We'll hear from Kevin Acey coming up. We'll hear from JD Wicker if you missed our conversation. But imagine being a ardent, diehard Dallas sports fan.
It's not been a good year for you.
It hasn't been the most fun. Now, they did end up with the first pick in the NBA draft somehow, so they got lucky. But you basically have two situations botched by general managers. I mean, Jerry Jones is the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys. If he wasn't in charge, there is not a world where Micah Parsons is leaving. It was completely botched by the organization. Micah said as much this summer. I credit the player here for saying, because it wasn't a ploy for money. It wasn't a ploy. It was his actual feelings. He said, they've burnt the bridge. I'm done with you. You said one thing, you went back on your word. Yeah. How can I give you my best if you are not being truthful with me?
Yeah, and wherever he would have gone, he was going to get
the money. Dallas, Green Bay, that's my point.
That makes a lot of sense. He's one of the best defensive players in the NFL.
He's honestly, his numbers, dude, for his position, I mean, he could end up with 150 plus career sacks. Like 5 people have ever done that.
Yeah, he's incredible. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Defensive Rookie of the Year, 52.5 sacks, 9 forced fumbles, 4 fumble recoveries, 3-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler, and he's 26 years old.
He's a wrecking ball.
Are you serious?
He really
Guy
is.
Can change games on an instant.
Imagine him on a good team.
I know. Packers, they're a good team. And you just added Micah Parsons, arguably the best defensive player in the league, one of the best defensive players in the league. Yeah, Packers are going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And you're right. The money thing with Micah, wherever he went, he was going to get the money.
A lot of it.
Yeah. There's a reason why the Packers traded 2 first-round draft picks and gave him all this money, because he's one of the best defensive players in the league. And so you give him that money and you say, you know what? It's worth it.
I think it sounds like a good deal. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great deal from the Packers' perspective. Is there anything that comes to mind for you in terms of more than 2 firsts, though, for non-quarterbacks? Because quarterbacks will get the first. Are there? I'd love to see some examples of like what a player of this caliber has been traded for before. There's not a lot of examples of this, right? In the NFL with players in their prime,
especially an all-pro player
at 26, not 33.
Yeah,
not 31.
Yeah.
So I mean, I love it from. I love it from the Green Bay perspective. How could you not? You're giving a future first for now.
Yeah,
you're built to win.
Yeah, they are.
From the Dallas perspective, how do you sell that? We just traded a 26-year-old. He's not worth first-round picks. He's your franchise.
And you traded him to a team that's going to make the postseason
in the NFC.
Yeah, and the NFC, you're not trading to a team that's bad, so you get a top 10 pick. I mean,
is it just an admission? You're 3 to 5 years away, so whatever. Because you look at like the Philadelphias and the Washingtons and the Green Bays, you're nowhere close to these franchises.
I'm surprised it happened this quickly, though.
It was amazing.
Because this morning it was reported that the Cowboys were going to start to listen on offers for Micah Parsons. And then it happened just hours later.
You think they did the full listen? Or are you saying maybe kind of like the Dallas Mavericks, where you kind of wonder, could they've gotten more for the player if they gave him more time?
I mean, the season is right around the corner. So you got to get this thing rolling. You can't
1 week from today?
1 week from today. You can't, you can't have this thing drag into the season.
No, you lose some. Yeah, maybe you lose something by allowing that to happen in your return.
But I think the Cowboys messed this whole thing up.
Well, they definitely messed the whole thing up.
This is all in the Cowboys, in my opinion.
Yeah, they definitely messed the whole thing up.
And to end up having to trade one of the best players in the league for 2 firsts. I mean, 2 firsts, by the way, that could be in the late 20s.
Could be 26 and 29. By the way, when Micah pens a letter that says, my dream as a young child was to play for the Dallas Cowboys, then you screwed it up.
You messed it up.
What point does he have to prove other than that?
You messed it up.
He's not leaving because he was going to get 184 in Dallas and 188 in Wisconsin. He's not leaving for that. He's leaving because you broke your bond and your trust with him.
Yo, if I'm a Cowboys fan, and thank God I'm not.
Oh, that's a black Thursday.
I am destroying Jerry Jones today. Jerry Jones is enemy number 1 on the list.
Well, it's got to be the beginning of the end, right?
Well, everyone was saying that like 10 years ago.
I mean, this is the true maybe end of the end.
Look, let's be real here. Jerry is not giving up control until the end. And by the end, you know what I mean.
And the control, though, is obviously just to his children, right?
Yeah.
Steven.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's already part of the organization.
Of course, in a huge
VP
way.
role, I think, or whatever.
President or something.
Yeah, president. Yeah. But yeah, Jarrett, he is not.
No, I agree.
He's not. He's not ending until he ends, right? And man, he has messed this team up over the last. I mean, giving Dak all that money,
yeah,
like that's turned out to be awful. Trading away Micah Parsons, that is going to turn out to be bad.
Trade away Micah Parsons.
How?
I would never have even considered that 6 months ago as a possible. I just figured he'd be there for his whole career. They've had so many of these linebackers that have been there for their whole career. The Sean Lees of the world.
In the NFL, when you have players like Micah Parsons, you make it work. You make it work. You don't trade away that talent. You don't. And he just did. I don't think
landmark.
I don't think any other team in the NFL would do that. Like the talent of Micah Parsons at the age that he's at. That's crazy.
I mean, it is honestly one of the biggest trades in modern NFL history for Micah Parsons at the age of 26 to be on the move from the Cowboys. I mean, from the Cowboys, you're the star of the star, and you've been traded from the Dallas Cowboys at age 26 to the Green Bay Packers.
I mean, the only other player is the Khalil Mack trade when he got traded at 26.
Yeah, massive trade
to the Bears, and he became, he was an All-Pro. And then with the Bears, he was an All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler. Actually, he's a 2-time All-Pro with the Bears.
What were Khalil Mack's career numbers before the trade? In terms of can you look up his sack totals?
Yeah, I already did. They're pretty similar. He had about 12 a season until his second year in Chicago when he started getting triple teamed every game, and then he kind of just.
Were the Bears good in 2019 and 2020 though?
Yeah, they went to the playoffs. I think. Or they almost did.
Well, Khalil Mack is still an
he's been a great
player.
He's been a great player. He has. But so Micah Parsons is an all-timer as well. All right, we'll react to this. Plus, we're getting you ready for, again, San Diego State and Stony Brook. We had our conversation with JD Wicker. We were going to play for you coming up on the other side. Maybe we'll play it later in the show. We're going to play Kevin Acee for you as well from after yesterday's Padres loss in Seattle. But we're reacting to, again, the shocking NFL trade involving Micah Parsons. We're getting you ready for San Diego State and Stony Brook. We're getting you ready for the Padres playing in Minneapolis tomorrow against the Twins. We're here until 5 in our pregame coverage for the Aztecs. So don't go anywhere. It's John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update's brought to you by Lexus El Cajon. Bring luxury home. Breaking news in the NFL. According to Adam Schefter, the Dallas Cowboys have traded all-pro defensive end Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and a defensive tackle. He also signed the largest contract in the history of the NFL non-quarterback contract. He is going to be paid a boatload of money. He is going to be paid $47 million per year. Padres have an off day today. They start a 3-game series with the Minnesota Twins tomorrow night in Minnesota. They're now 2 games back of the Dodgers in the National League West. And tonight, the Aztecs kick off their football season against Stony Brook. 7 p.m. kick time. 5 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. Experience true luxury from Lexus El Cajon, where you'll get a great deal during the Golden Opportunity sales event on any Lexus in stock. See why they're ranked #1 for customer service. Visit LexusElCajon.com. Bring luxury home from Lexus El Cajon.
Oh, boy, do we have a lot to talk about with Rich Ohrnberger, who, of course, played in the NFL and is on the call tonight with me for San Diego State and Stony Brook, and we're going to react to it all, including this franchise kind of league-altering move here. Micah Parsons from the Cowboys to the Packers. Oh, by the way, they meet week 4 in
on
Dallas.
Sunday Night Football.
That might be, people might tune in for that.
I think they will.
Rich, let's start there. I mean, just what is your reaction? It's so rare to see a player that's just 26 years of age with all this success get moved at this point in his career. What does this mean for the Packers and the Cowboys moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with the Cowboys, the team that he's played extremely well for and has just departed. I think the Cowboys are a worse football team this year today than they were just minutes ago. When you lose an edge rusher and a defensive presence and a force of nature on the football field like Micah Parsons, you fundamentally change the way your team is going to play football for the season. And you know they were going to be relying on him heavily. That's basically the way the defense has been formulated. And contract negotiations don't change that. I mean, the entire time, I'm sure Jerry was telling his coaches, hey, we'll get something done. Hey, we'll get something done, until the sobering reality that they were pretty far away from each other in terms of dollars and cents came tumbling down. And they've had to play hurry up and catch up now, how they're going to make up for the loss of Micah Parsons. Then you look at it from the Packers standpoint, and for everything I just said, the Cowboys lost. That's the Packers gain. The Packers just got one of the preeminent pass rushers in the NFL. He's an incredibly impactful football player. Not only does he obviously affect your defense and opposing offenses, but also your offense. I mean, think about how many turnovers, strip sacks, and just him factoring on plays will cause in the NFC North while the Packers play the teeth of their schedule. It's a landscape shifting trade in the NFL, and it is a shocking one. I thought the Dallas Cowboys were going to get something done.
Who do you put the most blame on here on the Dallas side? I think it's pretty easy, but for you, when you look at this, where did this whole thing fall apart in your opinion?
I think it was probably how public Jerry Jones made all the negotiations, because look, it's a business until it isn't. And I think Jerry made it personal, and players, especially ones like Micah Parsons, they are, supreme alpha males who, their word is their bond, and, your word is important to them. And I'm sure there were a lot of verbal promises exchanged across the course of his career with the Dallas Cowboys, things like, hey, you're going to be a Cowboy for life. Can't wait to see your name up there in the Ring of Honor, in that Texas twang. And I'm sure he felt really disheartened with some of the things that were said about him publicly. So if I'm going to lay the blame on any party involved in how these negotiations fell apart, I would blame the Dallas Cowboys, because for anybody in Dallas right now who's complaining about how public Micah Parsons is being, you got to remember, this is a guy in his mid-20s. Jerry Jones has been doing this for twice as long as Micah Parsons has been on the planet. He's been an owner in the NFL. He should have shown more tact.
Rich Ohrnberger, well said. He'll be on the call again tonight. San Diego State and Stony Brook. We'll get to that in a moment. I thought someone put it pretty well in the chat, by the way, saying this is Reggie White part 2. Reggie went from Philadelphia to Green Bay but he was 31 when he went there, and he was an absolute monster when he got there as well. I mean, he had been amazing in Philadelphia. He was amazing in Green Bay. I mean, this doesn't happen every day in the NFL, right? I mean, it doesn't really happen in sports. You see Luka to the Lakers. That was utterly shocking. But for him to be 26 years of age, what do you think this means for the NFC? There's so many good teams. The Philadelphias, the Washingtons, the Detroits, the Green Bays, the San Franciscos. Like, what does this mean in the NFC? It seems like a gauntlet.
Oh, yeah. It certainly makes the NFC side of the NFL better. Yeah. I would say, speaking broadly about the NFL overall, it speaks to the player mobility that we were just discussing in the NBA really started happening at the NFL level a couple of years back when we saw, Tom Brady leave the Patriots, goes to Tampa Bay, wins the Super Bowl. Stafford traded for Goff and picks between Dallas and LA. The Russell Wilson, that was a huge franchise shift for the Seahawks when he went to Denver and trade. Obviously, it did not work out for the Denver Broncos, but he at that time was considered a quarterback who was either dabbling or in the top 10 in the NFL. So we've seen more player mobility at these top positions in the NFL over the past, say, half decade. But it's pretty amazing how this fundamentally shifts the strength of the NFC North. Right? We already know everything we need to know about Detroit, and they're going to get healthier on defense with their stud back out there, healthy at defensive end. And then you add what this means to the Green Bay Packers. They have two of the best players in the league at two of the most important players with Love and now Parsons. You look at the Vikings, what they were able to do with a backup quarterback last year, Sam Darnold, and now they have J.J. McCarthy, the player they would have started. And then the Bears, Caleb Williams, it's still a story unwritten. We'll see what they're able to do, but they've surrounded him with talent up front on the O-line and in the skill position, and their defense has been bolstered. The NFC North all of a sudden is a division to be reckoned with.
So tonight, Aztecs kick off their football season at Stony Brook. What are you looking forward to most to see from year two, Sean Lewis, and in game one, especially, new look team, new quarterback, a lot of returning players. What do you hope to see tonight?
Yeah, and this is going to be something that John and I are going to keep a close eye on first quarter, first half is, fundamentals and unforced errors. I mean, how many times did we see pretty routine plays get blown up because of an overthrown pass, a quick route to the sideline, or a false start or an offsides penalty? Those things were major frustrations for the Aztecs and specifically the coaching staff last year. Sean Lewis commented on it in his post-game press conferences and the Sean Lewis Coaches Show every week on 760. It was a struggle. They hurt themselves so much last year, especially earlier in the season. That's what I'm going to be keying on. If the Aztecs clean up some of those early mental errors that they withstood throughout the beginning of the season last year, this is going to be a much different looking season.
Rich, you played in a lot of weather, right? I mean, whether it's in Penn State or then New England in the NFL. Is a wet field a factor? Like, again, it's been a light rain. It looks like it's going to stop raining. Is the field or the ball, is that a factor or not?
It certainly is, John, and specifically at the position I played, the center quarterback exchange, it is the first play of it's the first movement on every single play. And if you don't have that dialed in, whether it's in the shotgun or it's under center, you can't play football. So just be looking for the ball handling being an issue tonight. Even when it stops raining and you're just dealing with a wet turf, what a lot of people aren't going to notice listening to the game on San Diego Sports 760 or even watching from home is the fact that the ball still gets soaked from the grass. And so it still is a slick playing surface. It's still an issue for those handoffs, backfield exchanges, in the throwing game, the kicking game. So it lends to what we were just talking about. That is going to be a huge key for the Aztecs to clean up some of the early season sloppiness. The weather does not bode well for a team that doesn't usually play in any sort of harsh weather. And as a matter of fact, even though they are an FCS opponent, Stony Brook, the Seawolves, all those players who grew up in the Northeast for the most part, that is the predominant area they recruit. and play in weather throughout the course of their season, they're going to be much more used to those elements.
So we haven't seen Jaden Denical in an Aztec uniform yet. We saw him a little bit at Michigan, some flashes here and there. Big kid. I mean, he is big, definitely bigger than Danny O'Neal was last year. What do you hope to see from him tonight, and what kind of things that does his skill set bring to this team that could potentially, open up this offense for Sean Lewis?
Sean Lewis said on the coach's show he can touch anywhere on the field, and that is 100% accurate. He has a strong enough arm, and he's got the talent to throw any route in the book, which is a great starting point for any offense that wants to throw the football a good amount. And we know the Aztecs want to throw the football a good amount. And then you mentioned his size. Well, that's going to lead to much more durability this season. Danny O'Neal was habitually injured throughout the course of the season. A tough dude. He fought through a lot of injuries. And John and I remember remarking to each other, conversations, but also on the broadcast, how tough Danny O'Neal was. But he was undersized. He was undersized for college football, and he was forced to play as a freshman. And then, we look at that, his experience at Michigan, winning a national championship. Look, if everything coalesces the way it's supposed to, game one here to start off the Aztecs football season, Denical should be a huge upgrade at the position because he's been here, he's done it at this level, and he knows the ropes of a football season. So he's going to know how to pace himself through a game. He's also going to understand the rigor of getting ready for a game. Whereas last year, in a brand new system for a player who was brand new to college football, a lot of it was a great mystery, and he was learning along with everybody else what Sean Lewis's expectations were.
Rich, looking forward to tonight. I'm just reminded before you go, didn't you say when you got to college, they were hey, go up against these college defensive linemen or these edge guys? And didn't you go up? I'm just trying to imagine someone going up against Micah Parsons in college. Or didn't you go up against what Tamba Ali? Did you say? I forget who you said.
Yeah. So my introduction to college football was on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, that's
right.
Imagine
it. I was recruited as a defensive end. And there was a 5th overall draft pick, or I should say a future 5th overall draft pick by the name of Levi Brown, who was playing at starting left tackle on the offensive line for Penn State when I came in. So I spent my redshirt season getting absolutely dominated by him at practice every day. And then they switched me to the offensive line. And before I became, a part of a 4-year starter, I was, just a guy who was learning to play offensive line all over again at the college level. And on the scout team going against a productive, or I should say a future productive NFL pass rusher by the name of Tamba Ali, who routinely beat the living dog out of me at practice, which, man, I guess to answer the question, you take a lot of lumps early in your collegiate career. The most talented of players are able to show the mental bandwidth and composure to deal with that, and they can see some field time. But it is a completely different animal than playing at the high school level.
No doubt. Rich, we're looking forward to tonight. Again, game time 7:05. You can hear it on San Diego Sports 760. Aztecs and Seawolves tonight to get the season underway. I'll see you in a couple hours at Snapdragon. Thanks for doing it, man.
Yeah, you bet. Love the show, guys.
Thanks.
I'll do it anytime.
We appreciate you, my friend. Rich Orenberger. You can catch him, of course, on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch every morning on 101.5 KGB. I probably should have mentioned that when I welcomed him in.
Probably.
Welcomed him.
Well, he has many different titles. He has morning show host. He has Aztecs color analyst.
Yeah,
he has Fox Sports radio host on the weekends.
Shoot, he used to have Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on San Diego Sports 760 as well when he was doing 101.5 KGB.
He also does.
He's like Seacrest with muscles.
Yes,
I like that.
He also does the NBC 7
Sports Wrap with Darnay Tripp,
Sunday night NFL show.
That's exactly right.
What is that called? I'm blanking.
Sports Wrap.
It's Sports Wrap.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Darnay.
All right. On the other side, let's get back to the Padres as they get ready for the Twins. They'll open that series tomorrow night. We'll hear from Sean Lewis coming up, JD Wicker, and Kevin Acee as well. Stay with us, Sean and Jim, San Diego Sports 760.
You're wrong, Dan Patrick.
There was a lot of people wrong as early as today on ESPN. How about this from Michael Irvin today? You can report all you want. There's no way they're allowing Micah Parsons to go anywhere. I can guarantee Micah Parsons is not going anywhere. Jerry is not that crazy. That was today. That was today on ESPN. And he has moved to the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Cowboys have tweeted out the details of the trade. Unsurprisingly, it has not gone well. This their tweet is sponsored. It's like, hey, trade details presented by Blockchain. And the comments are everything you'd expect them to be.
It was posted 5 minutes ago, and it already has
2,000 comments.
2,000 comments. That is the definition of a ratio.
That's a lot on Twitter. Yeah.
2,000 comments in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a ton. Yep.
That thing is going to get ratioed to death. I like
this. Isn't Taylor and Travis? But
no.
In the NFL, in actual on field, in what this means for the league, this is as big as it gets.
Yep.
Right. I mean, it's right there.
I mean, if you're the admin, you're like, oh, cool. We got 4 o'clock free Thursday. You get a text message from like your boss. Hey, I'm gonna need you to get this tweet ready.
Right. You're like texting your girlfriend,
like, oh, cool
tweet. Let's do dinner. Yeah. We can hit up that spot near like Frisco.
Right.
Like, oh, actually, I'm gonna have to stick around a little later.
Like, imagine getting that text message and you're like, all right, we're about to report a trade.
Oh, and who's being traded?
Oh, it's cool. Who's being traded? And they're like, oh, it's Michael Parsons. You're
for
like
2 firsts.
Like, oh, excuse me. Writing that up, you're like, oh no.
I mean,
dude, I can't imagine that person's phone right now.
Oh, it's just all the notifications.
Oh
imagine if they have notifications on. There was an interesting tweet from Pro Football Talk that said it. Listen to this, Pro Football Talk, who Florio, right?
Yep,
I mean, this is a pretty strong statement from Mike Florio. Yeah. I know it's hard to deny yourself something you love, but if I was a Cowboys fan, I would boycott the team this year.
Okay.
You can't really do that. For me, the only way you're boycotting your team is if like they move. Like it's hard when you're a fan to truly. It's one thing to wear a brown paper bag over your head. It's another thing not to watch your team.
Yeah, I mean, you can be pissed off. Like
you're still gonna be there.
Like if I get pissed off on my team, I still watch.
You can't not watch.
Now, will my attention be as dedicated to them as it would have been before a big trade like this?
Not
like
if they start 3-6.
You know, I will watch, but like if I was a Cowboys fan right now, like, yeah, I would be very upset. I would be like, what the hell's going on? I would watch this team and I might honestly like watch them and root against them a little bit just so they get a better draft pick.
But that's a hard part too of this trade that you touched on, that you honestly want to root against the Green Bay Packers, but that's also a tough game to play because if you root against the Green Bay Packers,
and the Packers are going to be a good team.
That's the thing. It's like, okay, now you're watching the Packers win, even if they're not great, even if they win like 10, 11 games, you're not picking in the 20s.
Yeah. And did it say what year the picks were for?
No. Oh, it may on that tweet, actually. Look at it may actually on that tweet. I think it does.
Okay.
Yeah, check that tweet.
Because if they're the next 2 years,
I think it was 26 and 27. Oh, yeah. 27 is one of them.
26 first and a 27 first.
Yeah, but that's not good timing on that because the Packers are now expected to win.
Yeah.
So that's terrible timing. It's not 31 and 32, although you don't want that either. Those aren't good picks. Even in a dream scenario, you're picking like 19 and 20.
You could use those firsts along with something else to trade up.
Yeah. You're right.
Like whatever your first is, if you have a top 10 pick and you have like the 9th
19th.
pick or not,
like 8th and 19th now.
Yeah. 8 and 21. Yeah. You move up to
that's true.
Whatever.
But still you're asking for a lot. You got to hit on that pick and it's got to develop.
And they're in like a no man's land because of all the money they're owed to Dak Prescott.
Their quarterback's in his prime.
Man.
Weird organization. I mean, it's been so long. I mean, they were dominant and then they haven't been.
Imagine you're a Packers fan today. You're like, excuse me?
Wait, what?
A move that the Packers never make? They never make this type of move. And now they're just like, oh, by the way, we're going for it. Like, what? Huh?
Right.
They make big trades all the time. They don't do free agency is what they don't do.
But paying the money to a defensive player like this, that's crazy. I mean, that's a big time money.
What was their record last year, Green Bay?
Good question.
I'll look. Yeah, I'm just curious. I'm saying
they made the postseason.
Yeah,
I know that.
That's what I was saying. Was it 10, 11 wins? So the Packers a year ago won 11 games. They were 11 and 6 last year. Now everyone talked about Detroit, Minnesota, but they went 11
up
and
at the
6.
end, and they lost to the Eagles.
But I mean, 11-6 playing Minnesota and Detroit 4 times.
Yeah. You go 11-6. Quarterback's getting better. You make really good draft picks.
Minnesota's got a rookie quarterback.
Right. You have a sneaky good defense.
You win 12 plus games potentially. Big time. I mean, again, we talked about it with Rich. We talked about it briefly. You're a Niner fan. The NFC, I mean, the NFC is a disaster. Philadelphia, Washington, whatever happens in the West, like Niners, okay. But then you're talking about the Lions and the Packers. That's 5 teams right there that have a realistic shot of maybe playing in a Super Bowl 5 at least.
Now, the thing with the Niners is their schedule is an absolute joke.
Yep.
It's a joke. They'll
be in the playoffs.
Well, they got to stay healthy. They got to stay healthy. If they don't stay healthy, they got no depth. I think they can make the postseason this year, but they'll get to the postseason and it'll be like playing competition that they've not played all year long.
Green Bay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what?
Yeah.
You know?
That's Philadelphia.
Like we've been playing the Browns and the Saints
this is good
this year.
Yeah.
Now we're playing the who?
Right.
Where? Even though they do have a good record at Lambeau against the Packers, but that was with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback.
I have good news for Padres fans. The Cubs have lost to the San Francisco Giants. So the Padres have actually gained ground today in a wild card race. They could have lost ground. They gain it. They take advantage of San Francisco walking off. I believe they walked them off because it was in the 9th or later, walking off the Chicago Cubs. So the Padres are only 1 game out of the 4 seed. They're further behind in their own division.
That's a good thing.
Very good thing.
Cubs got swept by the Giants here.
Wow, that's insane.
And if they didn't get swept,
you could be 2-3 games behind them.
Maybe more.
Yeah. 3-4 games behind them.
So shout out to the Giants if you're a Padres fan today.
Yep.
Because they helped you out right here. Now you're only a game and a half back.
No, one. Right?
1 game back. Excuse me. You're right. 1 game back of the Cubs. And 1 back in the loss column.
Yeah. So that isn't a primary, like you're right there with the Cubs.
Yeah.
Because we don't. But with the Dodgers, again, with that tiebreaker, it's becoming harder. But you're right there right now. And it would be important. We talked about it at length yesterday. If you could wrap up the 4 seed. Now, again, you prefer the division. But if you could wrap up the 4 seed, you're so much better off.
Division or the 4?
The 5.
Division or the 4. That's the goal.
Yeah, 100%. All right, we'll hear from Sean Lewis on the other side. JD Wicker at 3:30. Kevin Acee at 4:30. We're here until Aztec pregame at 5. San Diego State and Stony Brook tonight at 7. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update's brought to you by Allstate. The breaking news in the NFL today, according to Adam Schefter, tweeted out about an hour ago, the Cowboys are trading all-pro defensive end Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and a defensive tackle. Micah Parsons also signed the richest contract for a non-quarterback in NFL history, a 4-year, $188 million deal. He will be paid $47 million per season. Padres have an off day today. They start a 3-game series with the Minnesota Twins tomorrow night in Minnesota. Padres are 2 back of the Dodgers in the National League West. And with the Cubs getting swept by the Giants earlier this afternoon, they're 1 back of the Cubs for the 4 spot. And Aztecs football kicks off tonight at Snapdragon Stadium. 7 p.m. kick time. 5 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts. Aztecs, Stony Brook. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of John and Jim. We are here until 5 because of our pregame coverage for San Diego State football tonight.
Back to 3 hours, baby.
Which is great. We used to think a 3-hour show was a show. Because we did it for years, at 3 hours. We're like, man, at the end of the show, that was a long show. Then we went from 3 to 4. We're like, when we have a 3-hour show now, it's like
cake.
It's a half day. It's like, remember the days, like the school days where you got out early?
Yeah.
Or something, you know what I mean? Those short school days, those are so much better than the full length day. So much better.
For a moment today, knowing that Aztec pregame starts at 5, I thought, 2-hour show. Easy.
You were thinking 3 to 5.
I was thinking 3 to 5.
No.
I know.
No.
I'm still getting used to the 2 o'clock start time.
So the thing is, 2 to 5 really isn't short because we did 3 to 6 for 3 years.
Right.
And even longer with other shows we did. So it's not short, but it kind of feels short. If you missed JD Wicker, we're going to hear from him at 3:30. And if you missed Kevin Acey after yesterday's loss in Seattle, we'll hear from him at 4:30. I do want to get to the phones. Eric's been very patient. I didn't realize he wanted to talk about Micah Parsons. I thought he wanted to talk about the Padres, but he wants to talk about Micah, maybe the Padres as well. Eric, you're back with us here on John and Jim. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for your patience.
Yep, not a problem, guys. Hey, yeah, I just wanted to touch on Khalil Mack and then the Micah Parsons real quick. Khalil Mack, I can't recall when he was traded to Chicago, how Chicago was performing as far as, record wise and where they fell in the hierarchy of one of the better teams or not the better teams in the NFC, unlike Green Bay. But what I do know is, Micah Parsons, Khalil Mack, he was a first team All Pro in 2 positions that year. I think one was edge rusher and then linebacker. And then as far as Micah Parsons goes, I think Rich Rumberger touched on it when he mentioned it's a landscape shift in the NFL. I mean, those are the kind of things that Micah Parsons does. It's almost like, we can almost say it's like an ecosystem. He just changed the whole ecosystem of the NFL for the whole season. And I mean, you not only, schedule wise, flex schedules, you got all the networks scrambling right now. Then you got the who's going to be calling the games as far as these commentators and then think about the tickets, in Vegas, preseason favorites to win. If you're holding on to a Green Bay Packers ticket right now, I mean, that ticket doesn't change regardless of what happens with the players.
That's a good point.
Thank you for taking the call.
I appreciate it. I mean, that is a good point. If you're holding a Packers to win the NFC or Super Bowl ticket,
you're like, okay,
you have more value in that right now. And he is right about the NFL networks thinking about flexing different. The Packers are already the Packers, and the Cowboys are the Cowboys. Cowboys are popular regardless of team record. They're playing Thanksgiving, the ratings are massive. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how often the Packers were going to be on Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night football, but
a good amount.
Certainly, the NFL and their partners have circled some of these games because these are going to be some of the biggest games of the year, including Packers Cowboys in Dallas in Week 4.
Yeah, I just can't believe that Jerry actually did it. Now again, the relationship was ruined, and it was on Jerry to fix it, and he messed it up in the first place. And I'm sure Micah Parsons is like, you know what, I'm not doing this. You can pay me all this money, but I'm still not going to sign. And at that point, you have to make a move. You got to make a move quick because the season starts in a week, and you can't let this thing drag out into the season. So I get it from that standpoint from Jerry.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
But this whole thing was messed up before today.
Oh my gosh, because we didn't spend a ton of time on it on John and Jim, but we definitely had Cynthia Freeland at one point.
Yeah.
We had another guest on it at some point, and it became kind of abundantly clear that what Micah was saying, if he was being truthful, he wasn't going back. I mean, he was using very strong language. Now, there were those that would say, well, you say something and then a deal gets done.
Mm-hmm.
But he stuck to his word. I credit Micah Parsons for doing that. All right. I want to switch gears for a second to Sean Lewis, who we had on the Coach's Show on Tuesday night, right here on San Diego Sports 760. You have this, Brent, right? From Sean? You have Sean. Okay, so here's just a portion of that conversation. This starts with Sean Lewis being asked about a Stony Brook team. The opponent is number 24 in FCS. They're coming off an 8-4 year. They have a very good ground game, a guy that ran for well over 1,000 yards last year. This is Sean Lewis on Stony Brook.
Yeah, I mean, really well coached, right? Like, head man was the FCS Coach of the Year. Obviously, tremendous turnaround, as you alluded to. What really pops is that they're very true to their identity, right? Like, they have a really clear identity of who they want to be. Like, they're going to spread you out offensively, lean on the inside run game. Obviously, they have a bell cow of a back, some RPOs off of that. They kind of make you get the chalk dust flying a little bit with some of their unbalanced sets and the way that, they kind of utilize some Y hide, Y tight end pop type deals to force you to be really focused, including to your keys, because they try and get you with a little bit of gotcha and deception type plays. It also shows up quite a bit. They had a bunch of non-offensive touchdowns last year, right? Whether that was in teams with block kicks or did a tremendous job turning over opposing offenses. I believe it was like they had 14 forced fumbles. They recovered 10 of them. They had 13 interceptions that they converted into points, right? And so obviously all that ties together to play complementary football. And they're a pretty disciplined unit, right? They don't do too many things to where they have a ton of busts in their, defensive structure that lead to explosive plays. Like, they make you earn it, so it'll be a great test. It'll be a great challenge. They're obviously coming in here ranked top 25 at the FCS level, and, not something to be taken lightly. We got to go, again, hold that process of winning in high regard and go earn it play after play in all three phases Thursday night.
And I'll be honest with you, Jim, I never once considered until yesterday, in the whole lead up to the season, 200 plus days, I never once considered it could rain. No, I mean, I'm being dead. Dead on.
I know. Of course, it's going to rain on the home opener.
We're coming off a winter.
In San Diego.
Correct me if I'm wrong. We're coming off a winter because I remember doing Aztec basketball. It didn't rain a ton in the winter.
No.
Now, it hasn't rained at all, like always, in the summer. I mean, it's been dry. I look at my phone a week ago, it's sunny every day. I look at my phone today, look at every day after today.
I know.
It's sunny. But here you are, and this is a part of sports when you play outside. There can be wind, there can be rain, there can be fog. I mean, it happens even in Southern California, but it's a factor. Rich said it was a factor. It's like, I've done center quarterback exchange for 10, 15 years, and I'm telling you, it's a factor. So it's at least something I never considered it a couple of days ago, and it's something that I think is a consideration now heading into this game.
Now, it's not pouring. It's just a drizzle.
Not. And I think it's actually stopping.
It's going to stop here soon. It says at around 5 o'clock, the sun's going to come out.
Okay, so maybe it'll even be sunny. Okay.
Sunsets at 7:17 tonight.
Right.
Little sun, clouds, and it's very humid, by the way.
Good point.
It's 82 degrees outside.
Oh, is it 82 out right now? So
82.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
And then, of course, the next week plus,
it just
no clouds, sunny, highs of 85 all week, lows of 70. Like,
wait, honestly,
of course it rains on the home opener. Duh.
Course. Why wouldn't it? It's just like how life works.
Like, here's another non-break for you guys. Boom, rains.
Seriously. And we talked about it off air. I mean, this is just how college football works. You can't lose the game.
Nope.
That's how college football works. It's the situation of it coming off a 3-9 year.
Yeah.
And college football is not the sport where you can overcome losing, right? You know what I mean? Like, there's such a premium on winning in college athletics, specifically college football. And you're saying, John, it's Stony Brook. I had this conversation with Darren yesterday when he had me on his podcast.
Oh, I saw you.
Like, give me the, sell me on Stony Brook. I'm like, well, I would sell you on San Diego Christian when San Diego State basketball is playing San Diego Christian. So believe me, I can sell you on Stony Brook. So again, it's a game that you have to win. Right? You don't want to take them lightly. The weather, so what? You can't control it. Neither team can control it, and you have to win the game. Simple as that.
Yep. And, we talked about this a little yesterday. Last year at halftime,
they were trailing.
They were trailing at the half.
Yeah, well, it was 6-3.
And now they put up like 38 points or something in the second half.
42.
42 points.
6 touchdowns in the second half.
Yeah, it was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Up
They
and
did it
down.
quick. A lot of defense. To a couple of defensive scores.
I would prefer the flip of that tonight.
First half, they score 40 points. Yeah.
Because if you score 40 points in the first half and you're up 40-10,
Well, that'd be incredible.
then you can score 6 points in the second half if you hold Stony
fine.
Brook to 3.
You're fine. Yeah.
Or you can get outscored in the second half 6-3.
10-3.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's
you
fine.
won 40-12 or whatever. Yeah.
You know, I hate to say it, but like style points are gonna matter here a little bit. They just are. No longer are the days that you can just win 10-6 and be like, well, look, our defense is great. You know, okay. But with the way that this program is trying to get to a certain point and what they're trying to build and what they're talking about, style points, I do feel like are gonna matter with this team.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair. I do. I mean, ultimately, you need to win. And secondarily, it would be nice to really start clicking, obviously, in the second year.
Yes.
And early in the year now, easier said than done. They have 2 starters back on offense. So let's see if some of these newcomers that are here are able to make that improvement immediately, beginning with the quarterback in Jaden Denegal. All right, more on tonight. San Diego State and Stony Brook coming up at 3:30 with JD Wicker. We'll take a look at where the Padres stand on the other side. Plus at 4:30, if you missed our conversation with Kevin Acee after that Mariners game yesterday, you'll hear that coming up at 4:30. Pre-game coverage for San Diego State and Stony Brook gets underway at 5 p.m. with kickoff at 7. This is John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 until 5 p.m. That's when Aztecs pregame gets underway. SDSU and Stony Brook tonight at 7. Me and Rich on the call. There's a lot to react to. Didn't necessarily expect this. The Micah Parsons trade is a massive one in sports. I don't care if you're a huge football fan or not. There's certain trades. You might not be a massive NBA fan. You knew Luka was a huge moment. You might not be a massive NFL fan. We've had changes here in Southern California, in San Diego over the last 10 years. It's still a massive moment if you're just a sports fan. That's when things like this transcend. There's big trades. There could be a trade at the deadline, Jim, in baseball where, like, you know, the top reliever goes somewhere, or like whatever, a position player changes teams. But it's not every year Juan Soto changes teams. Like, Juan Soto transcended just San Diego, and Micah Parsons transcends like sports, truthfully. If you're a sports fan, it's a big moment.
Do you think that it's bigger because it has to do with the Cowboys?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
He was on the Jaguars.
Dude, the leagues, and if he was traded to the Jaguars, I was thinking that too. It wouldn't be as significant in my mind because these are two big time franchises.
Yeah, one iconic brand to another iconic brand.
So that to me is a big part of it. Like give me an edge rusher right now in football that isn't Micah, but is a top 5 edge.
TJ Watt.
I'm sorry. If he moves right now, it's not the same story.
What about Myles Garrett?
I don't think it's as big as Micah Parsons. Do you? It's big.
It's big, you're right. But I think the team has a lot to do with it because it is the Cowboys, because it is quote unquote America's team. I mean, I hate. I hate that.
I get it, but it's like they're polarizing. People either hate them or they love them.
Yeah. And, you know, the Cowboys are the biggest brand in your sport.
Yeah. They're not the winningest.
No.
So you're 100% right.
And because of that,
biggest brand in the biggest sport in America.
And you go to the NBA with Luka. Luka was traded to the biggest brand in the NBA, or one of the biggest brands in the NBA.
Right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
My Warriors are actually a bigger brand as far as evaluation goes.
But I don't know. Eyeballs,
Lakers
and viewership,
Lakers
and history.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Lakers are bigger, but as far as like the evaluation, according to Forbes.
You're saying what it's worth?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's different. I get it. But brands, yeah, there's probably not a bigger brand in the NFL than the Cowboys.
No, there isn't. I mean,
you trade away their best player to the Packers of all teams, like an iconic franchise in itself.
Yeah, to your point, if he's traded to an AFC team like the Titans or the Jaguars, it's not the same as Packers who could be in a Super Bowl this year.
Or even if it was like a trade, say Micah Parsons was on the Titans, and then Titans traded him to the Jaguars, which they would never do because they're in the same division.
It's nowhere near the same moment.
Yeah, it's like the Titans traded all-pro edge rusher Micah Parsons to the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, no, it's nowhere near the same. No. I mean, the league, to your point, it's like it kind of has orbited for a long time around Cowboys. You know, you just think about Thanksgiving Day. You think about just how polarizing that franchise has been, for better or worse. Now, again, the other thing we've been talking about here today is that the Padres are off. So the Padres have an off day. They'll be in Minnesota taking on the Twins tomorrow. They have fallen 2 games back of the Dodgers. They've actually picked up ground in the wild card race over the Chicago Cubs. Now, me and you asked ChatGPT this earlier. We said, if the Cubs and the Padres finish with the same record, we always talk about it with the Dodgers. We know they have the tiebreaker. But if the Cubs and the Padres finish with the same record, who's the 4 and who's the 5? It's still to be determined, right? Because it's based on your record against your own division. Because the Cubs and Padres are 3-3 against each other, which means it next goes to how do the Padres perform against the NL West compared to how do the Cubs perform against the NL Central? And as we sit here today, they actually have identical records, right?
Identical intra-division records.
Isn't that kind of insane?
That is crazy, but records outside of their division, Padres have a better record outside the National League West than the Cubs do outside of the NL Central.
So what you're saying is if the season truly ended today and the teams were tied, and they're not, but if the season ended today and they were tied, you're telling me the Padres have the tiebreaker?
Yes, because they would go to the second tiebreaker.
Gotcha.
They would go
actually even the third, because head-to-head is number 1.
Head-to-head's number 1, intra-division is number 2, and then record against opponents outside your division in the NL.
That's okay. So that's how close it is right now between the Padres and the Cubs.
Right, because the Cubs and Padres have the same. The record intra-division games is the same.
Right.
They're tied. They tied the season series 3-3. So then you go the third tiebreaker, which would be record outside of your division, which, with the Giants beating the Cubs today, helps the Padres even more.
How would you feel if I told you right now the Padres are the 4 seed in the NL playoffs? Season's over. They're the 4.
Would I sign up for that right now?
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm asking you.
Sign up for that right now or take your chances for the rest of the season?
You could be the 1 seed through out of the playoffs. Anything could happen. Would you take the 4 seed right now, that guaranteed home playoff series against a team like the Cubs, or would you play for more, the 20-8 finish, the division? Who knows what's possible with a good finish? But you could go 8-20 down the stretch. You could be out of the postseason or anything in between.
If I was a betting man, which I'm not, and I like to roll the dice, I think I would let it play out. But
you'd be tempted
because I'm not a betting man, and because I know this team's history, even though history doesn't play any role into what they do in September here.
Right.
I think I might pick the guarantee 4 seed and make sure that the team is healthy,
because it's better than a 5 or 6 or out. It's tough.
It's tough
because it sounds
so
a little
close.
It sounds a little defeatist.
It does.
When you're 2 games out in your division and there's 28 games to play.
You want to let it ride. You want to take your chances.
But then again, we've seen this. We've seen this so many times. Is it really going to be different? Is the question. Are they really going to find a way to make up 3 games over the next 28 days? Would you want to let it ride? 70470 started with team. Would you let it ride or would you take the 4 seed? 877-767-4760. I think it's a really fascinating question, honestly.
If you let it ride, you could get the 2 seed.
Likely best case scenario, letting it ride is the 2 seed. The 1 seed is out.
That's where I'm going with.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, if you let it ride, is the 2 seed.
Right.
Dodgers would drop down to the 4 or the 5.
Or the 5. Yep.
Most likely the 4.
Mm-hmm.
You would play the winner of the 3-6 matchup, which would be the Phillies and the Mets, which would be crazy.
And you get them with home field if you were the 2.
You get them with home field. Or you take the 4-5, and if you win that series, you play the Brewers.
Without home field.
I think I might take the 4 if that's the scenario.
Because you think Milwaukee might be susceptible, you're saying?
I do.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Over the Cubs and over the Phillies and the Mets.
Yeah, specifically Philadelphia. It's an interesting point.
Like Schwarber scares me. Harper scares
Their
me.
lineup. Yeah,
Soto.
Exactly.
Alonso. Like
100%.
They scare me.
Good lineups. It's a good point.
The Brewers, they have a good lineup. But you talk to the average baseball fan, not many people can name all 9 players in the Brewers lineup.
And you kind of wonder if their luck is just going to run out. Like they've had all these successes in the regular season. Does that continue into the postseason or do they play tight?
We'll see.
All right, we're going to hear from JD Wicker on the other side as the Aztecs prepare for Stony Brook tonight at 7:05 p.m. If you missed Kevin Acee, you'll hear him coming up at 4:30. We're here until 5. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is brought to you by Allstate. The breaking news in the NFL today. Adam Schefter reported this about an hour and a half ago. The Cowboys, they've traded all-pro pass rusher Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. Parsons gets $188 million over 4 years with $136 million guaranteed. It is a true blockbuster in the NFL. 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark are going back to the Cowboys. Padres have an off day today. They start a 3-game series with the Twins tomorrow night in Minnesota. Padres are 2 back of the Dodgers in the National League West. And with the Cubs lost today to the Giants, just 1 back of the 4 seed in the wild card standings. And tonight, San Diego State starts their NFL season, starts their football season at Snapdragon Stadium, 7 p.m. kickoff time, 5 p.m. pregame. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
All right, John and Jim. Kevin Acey, if you missed him, you'll hear that at 4:30 as the Padres get ready for the Twins. We connected with J.D. Wicker, of course, San Diego State, as Jim just told you, playing tonight at 7:05. You'll hear it on San Diego Sports 760. We caught up with the Aztecs athletic director yesterday. If you missed it, we started the conversation asking about a new TV deal for the Pac-12, which San Diego State is heading to in 2026 with the CW. CBS was already on board. Now the CW, what does it mean?
Yeah, we're excited about the CW. If you go back to last year when they did, Pac-12 games, they're doing some ACC games. The viewership, they had really good viewership numbers for those games because, again, it's free over there. So, if you've got a TV, you're getting these games. So we're going to be in a lot more homes with it. So that's good for us. As much exposure as we can possibly get. So we're excited that they're doing football and men's basketball. And I think they're going to do some, women's basketball and other stuff along the way. So it's good.
Leading up to year 2 of Sean Lewis here over the offseason, what have you seen that you like so far from Sean Lewis and his coaching staff and this team as well, with all the new players and all the returning players that have been brought back to lead into, hopefully a much better season upcoming for the Aztecs?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing leading into it is, Sean and the staff did a great job of retaining the guys that they wanted to retain from last year's team and then going out and filling those holes that we had with, really quality young men. I was talking to somebody the other day and they were talking about in the weight room, the difference between the team that walked out of the weight room on December 1st and the guys that walked in January 1st, the transformation of that team was something they had never seen before with how much better it just looked, just guys walking in. So excited about that. They've done a great job through all the different phases, or the climb as they like to call. And we're excited to go, hit somebody in a different colored jersey tomorrow.
And again, it'll be tomorrow night at 7:05, San Diego State and Stony Brook. J.D. Wicker, San Diego State's athletic director, with us right now on John and Jim. We'll give away some Aztec tickets coming up in 7 or 8 minutes. So I saw the release earlier today out of San Diego State Communications about what's new at Snapdragon Stadium. But one of the things, and it might be good for our listeners heading out there tomorrow, J.D., is there's more construction underway at San Diego State Mission Valley, right? So what impact will that have over the course of the 2025 football season and beyond for Aztec fans?
Yeah, we're excited. Mission Valley is, something we talked about. It wasn't only a stadium, it was housing, it was innovation district, it was river park, all the other things. So the first housing project is under construction. So there will be some changes to how you enter the lot, but we've spent a lot of time working with our partners on making sure we've got, good flow coming into the stadium. So we encourage everybody to go to the website or check your email. As you'll be receiving information on what those changes are. But it's exciting to see more of Mission Valley going under construction. And again, San Diego State delivering to the community what we said we would.
How's the field holding up? Because you got SDFC, you have the Wave, and now we're going to add Aztec football to the mix. How's the field holding up at Snapdragon?
Yeah, the field's been spectacular. After the Shakira concert, we replaced the field. It's called sod on plastic. It's a new way to grow grass. If you watched the NFL wildcard playoffs last year, I think it was Pittsburgh, and then maybe in week 2, Philadelphia, they had brand new fields that they had installed in January in cold weather areas. And that's because they had grown this new way of growing sod on plastic. So you can grow it thicker, it's easier to harvest, and it's easier to install. And we did that, and everybody's been extremely happy with the field to this point. Obviously, coming into the fall, it's going to be a little more activity on it. So we'll be continuing to baby it as much as we can. We've got the grow lights as well. So we'll see how it goes. But we've also, we've got plenty of grass out there between sod on plastic and at the turf farm, that if we need to replace areas or, do the things that we need to do to make sure we have a good surface for everybody that plays there, we will do it.
You've been doing this a long time. Did you ever think you'd become this much of an expert on grass and turf?
Well, I was a facility guy before this. So, I knew when I was in the Southeast, I knew a little bit about turf, but did not think I'd be spending this much time on turf while in San Diego. So between real estate development, lobbying at the federal, state, and local level, floodplain maps, and now sod and turf, my job description's changed a little bit.
Absolutely.
JD Wicker is with us right now, San Diego State's athletic director. I'm curious, JD, because obviously with football scheduling, it's more than usually just like a year and ahead, but we're looking at the Pac-12, for example, in 2026. And like publicly, we don't know how many conference games there's going to be, right? Or even maybe behind the scenes. I don't know if it's been finalized. As in, isn't it a big difference for you from a non-conference perspective if there's, let's say, 7 conference games or 8, or even, I guess, a scenario where there's more than 8 conference games? How do you plan for all of that behind the scenes, knowing that the non-conference scheduling portion, that typically is happening, 12, 24, 36 plus months out?
Yeah, we're, right now we've still got to replace a non-conference matchup that we had with Oregon State next year, because that'll be a conference game. So we're working on, that right now, the SEC going to 9 games and potentially the ACC going to 9 games and some conference realignment. We think we'll shake somebody loose that we'll be able to do that. So hopefully in the next month or 2, we'll be able to finalize our non-conference schedule for next year. And just based on, there just aren't that many teams out there, we'll figure out how to play, what are 8 conference games. And there have been discussions in the background and, with the Pac-12 ADs, and hopefully we'll have that finalized here in the near future, because again, we've got to start putting all of this together. We're less than, a year out basically from starting the Pac-12 football season. So we've got to get those answers pretty quick.
What do you think about the future college football playoff format? Not to predict what is ultimately going to transpire, but from your viewpoint, what's preferred in terms of the access model? Is it 5 conference champions plus at larges? How would you do it if you were in charge of coming up with the future modeling?
Yeah, I think it's 12 or 16 teams, and it's the AQs for the conference champions. Highest ranked conference champions, and then everybody else has to earn their way in. And I think with the tweak that they made, where a win against a better team versus a win against a not as good team, it weighs differently in their metric. And if you schedule appropriately and maybe you play a really good team close, you're going to get some credit for that, as opposed to scheduling. You look at who, some of the SEC teams schedule leading into their, rivalry games or, things like that. So I think you have to earn it on the field, and, teams have to actually go win the games. You can't expect when you lose to teams with losing records, even if they are in your conference and they're really good usually, but they have a losing record this year. Well, you have, losses to teams with losing records. What do you expect?
So we heard from Sean Lewis earlier in the show today, JD, and he sounds confident in this team's, chances to succeed this year. And when asked about a bowl game, he was like, hell yeah, absolutely. We feel like we can make a bowl game. As far as your expectations go for this upcoming season, where do they sit compared to where Sean Lewis is right now?
Yeah, I mean, at San Diego State, we compete for championships. We have over 100 championships since the 2010 season. We've tied the Mountain West Conference, or we've led or, been tied for the lead in the number of championships that we've had the last 4 years. We have far more than anybody else in the conference over the length of the conference. So, yeah, we expect to win championships, and, that leads to being eligible for bowl games. We'll be interested to see in year 2 if we're, quite up to the snuff of competing with a Boise State or somebody like that. But, we'll get that opportunity at Snapdragon Stadium against Boise State, and you'll bring in a good Colorado State team coming to San Diego as well, a good San Jose State team. So, encourage people to come out and cheer the guys on. But yeah, I think a bowl game is definitely within our sights this year. And if we don't get that, then we'll be disappointed.
All right. So tomorrow night at San Diego State and Stony Brook at 7:05. And again, tickets are available at goaztecs.com. JD, I'm going to have you pick out the number. And whatever number you say is the caller that's going to win these 2 free tickets right now for tomorrow night. So give me a number between, let's say.
Yeah, don't say like 750.
No, like between maybe 1 and 10.
I was going to say 14 because that would mean we won the conference championship, in the first game in the college football playoff.
I love that.
Okay.
Then the number, Brent just gave me 2 thumbs up. So caller 14 to 877-767-4760 right now has 2 free tickets for tomorrow night, and tickets are available right now at goaztecs.com. JD, we always appreciate your time. We'll hear from you again tomorrow at 6 p.m. on the pregame show, and we're looking forward to tomorrow night. So thank you for doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited about tomorrow night, and if people may have missed it, cross country meet in Mission Valley and the River Park at 5:00 on Friday, and then women's soccer on Saturday night at 7, and men's soccer on Monday night against USD on Monday night at 7. So lots of Aztec activity in Mission Valley, and we hope we'll see a bunch of people there and go Aztec.
And by the way, 2 Aztecs in the Ryder Cup as well, right?
Yes, indeed.
2 Aztecs
absolutely
for life golfers in the Ryder Cup as well for the U.S. JD, we appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow night, all right?
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Go Aztecs.
All right, that interview is from yesterday. So if you're calling for tickets, that was a pre-recorded interview with JD Wicker. So we don't have free tickets available for you. There are tickets available right now at goaztecs.com. We hope to see you down at Snapdragon Stadium. I just got the report from Mike Usher, who works with us here at iHeart. He was making his way down, and it sounds like we're in a studio. We can't see outside. He said it sounds like the weather is pretty good right now. So rain has stopped. Make your way down to Mission Valley and Snapdragon Stadium.
Well, that's good
for the Aztecs and Stony Brook. I thought it would stop by tonight.
Yeah, it says
it's still hours before the game.
It says on my phone that it's gonna. Yeah, I think right now just a little cloudy.
Yeah,
sun's gonna come out here around 5:00.
It's gonna be crazy.
Pregame starts.
Yeah, like you said, it's kind of hot and humid.
And then it looks like the sun will be out at 7 p.m. But then it quickly sets at 7:17. So it should be a completely fine night.
Yeah,
it's gonna be 72 degrees tonight. Very humid.
72 degrees?
Love it.
Sounds like San Diego.
Yep.
Despite the rain earlier today. All right, the wrap's coming up at 4. If you missed Kevin Acey, you'll hear that at 4:30. A lot to react to. Micah Parsons on the move. Padres Twins coming up. Aztecs coming up tonight. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, the wrap coming up at 4 p.m. Kevin Acey at 4:30. Our Aztec pregame coverage begins at 5 p.m. I love having college football back, and I annoy the hell out of Jim. There's like games at 2 in the afternoon. I don't have no idea why this game. Boise State's playing at 2 in the afternoon. I just watch the entire game while we do the show. It's like when Jim is watching like WWF or whatever they call it, or like the Niners, or whatever they call those guys. And you're like, but you can't do a show when the Niners play.
No, I can't.
I can do a show when Boise State plays South Florida, but I'll watch every single play and I will react to every play.
But do you care?
No,
exactly.
But I do love college football, so I like care because I just like watching.
If the Niners are on, that's a problem for me.
So are you saying like you have like a rooting interest when the Niners are on? Like you care what? But the thing is with the Niners is the game will start at 5:15. We'll do a show until 6. They'll be down like 3-0 with 11:09 to play in the first quarter, and you're like throwing things.
Yes.
And they're playing the like Jags at home.
Correct.
In like 2021.
Yeah, game's over, season's over.
And then they win 38-10.
Correct.
And they go 3-and-out on their first drive. You're like, Purdy, like he's a massive problem. I'm like, you just told me he's an MVP.
Yeah, the life of a 49ers fan.
The 49ers have been good.
I saw a post today, it just like hit me right in the gut. It was like my dad grew up with, and it shows like Joe Montana winning all these Super Bowls, and then Steve Young and Jerry Rice. And it's like me growing up with the 49ers, and it's like heartbreak.
Right.
Super Bowl loss after Super Bowl loss after Super Bowl loss. NFC title loss after NFC title loss.
Yeah, but like what would you prefer? Let's use the Padres as the example. They had let's say from 06 to name the year or the next time they were in the postseason.
2020, but
okay, so there's this, let's just say there's these 10 years of just blah, right? There's a 10-year run of
15-year of blah.
Of blah.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're right. They're not losing in heartbreaking fashion. Yes, there's obviously like a game 163 in there.
Yeah.
But so they're not losing in heartbreaking fashion by and large. So would you prefer the meh? Or would you prefer you get to 3 NLCSs and have a 3-2 lead and you lose them all, or you lose a World Series? I'd almost prefer the heartbreak, right? You gotta get there.
I think I'd prefer the heartbreak because on the other side of the heartbreak, the expectations are still very high and they don't drop. And that's what I want. I don't want us to be like, I don't want to be rooting for a team that's just like complacent and just everyone's used to just losing and there's no urgency and there's no backlash for a team that doesn't make a bunch of moves to try to win and there's no repercussions. It's just like it's like Pittsburgh Pirates fans right now. They're just lost in this awfulness of crap
forever.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the Padres, for example, over the last 5 years. If nothing else, they've been extremely relevant and people have been all in. I mean, you live and die, so to speak, on some of these results. There's been a lot of good in there. It hasn't been perfect, obviously, but there's been a lot of good in there. I'd prefer that. I mean, there's some of these franchises, being a Browns fan, being a Pirates fan, being give me the NBA, a Charlotte Hornets fan. I mean, give me a break historically. At least give me an NBA team that is good but doesn't win. I mean, the Warriors have won. Give me like one of those very relevant NBA teams, but they haven't like reached the top recently.
Knicks.
Yeah, they're very relevant. They haven't been good by and large. They have recently been better, but they've had some awful teams in there over the last 20 years too. Give me another one that's like good recently.
Houston.
Yeah, maybe Houston now.
Well, last year was the first year they were actually good in a long time.
Right.
Good question.
Clippers, maybe.
The Clippers.
Last few years they've been
no one
decent.
cares about the Clippers.
That's the thing they're such a tough franchise to like react to.
I would say the Knicks because the Knicks, they've been good with Tom Thibodeau as their head coach,
right? And
then now with the expectations where they're at, they don't reach those expectations. Guess what? We're making changes now. It's not the best thing for a franchise to do. When you have all these expectations and you tinker and you make a bunch of moves and fire the coach and whatnot, but fans expect the Knicks to be good.
Let me ask you this: with college football back and with the NFL back a week from tonight, do you get that kind of like Christmassy feeling with football? You probably don't get it necessarily with college. Do you get it next Thursday when, even though the Niners aren't playing, but it's the NFL's back? And what's the game? Is it Eagles Cowboys?
It's Eagles Cowboys.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, do you get that feeling, or does it have to be your team?
It has to be my team. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love football, but I'm not like going to sleep the night before, being like, it's Christmas tomorrow.
That's how I feel when college football returns. I look at the college football schedule on like random days in like May and June. I'm like, oh, that first Thursday has Buffalo Akron.
I'm just so used to like 49ers heartbreak that I'm just like, here we go again.
Well, what are you gonna do now? Watch all year?
No, of course I'm gonna watch all year and then get pissed off and be upset.
Right, exactly. Brent, what are you doing? We're changing Boise State USF like game of the century. Oh, is Wisconsin playing tonight?
Oh my!
Okay, that's fair if Wisconsin's playing.
Not yet. You got time out.
Okay, I get it. How could it, let me just say this about Brent real quick. This is going to open up a huge can of worms.
What?
Because how could someone be a passionate Wisconsin fan?
Oh yeah,
which I respect.
This is a good question.
Which I completely respect. He's born and raised, but have so much vitriol for the Packers. Like because the reason I say it, and he'll have a legitimate reason, I promise you. But there's a lot of Badger fans, and Brent knows better than I do. What percent of Badger fans, Brent, or Packer fans, excuse me, are diehard Badger fans? I would imagine a lot.
Probably about 80, 75%.
Okay. So tons of overlap, but not Brent.
Wait, how did you?
Yeah, well, give us the gist.
A Bears fan instead of a Packers fan.
Because their fan base is annoying.
So you just grew up and were like, they're annoying. I don't want to root for them.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cult. Only you're not part of the cult. So you look at them and you're like, yeah, you guys are all crazy. And they'll be like, oh, 2 + 2 = 5. And then everyone else in the call will go, yeah, it does. And you'll be like, no, it's 4. And they'll be like, no, you're stupid.
So did you intentionally then take on their like bitter rival as your
No,
fandom?
I just rejected them right off the bat just because I couldn't stand them. And I don't like things being force fed down my throat. Hence like the Taylor Travis stuff all the time. So in Green Bay or in Wisconsin it's force fed down your throat. And if you don't like what they're feeding you, you're treated like a leper. So it's one of those where it's just like, oh, well, then you guys can, get the double bird and go kick rocks. So that's why I hate Green Bay.
But Wisconsin's different. You're saying the Badgers.
Oh, yeah, no, I love the Badgers.
Yeah.
Badgers are good. Their fan base is nice. It's not like the Packer fan base.
When did you become a Bears fan?
Probably by young.
Yeah, right away in the 80s.
Was your dad a Bears fan?
No, my dad's a closet Packers fan.
He's a Packers fan or closet Packers fan?
He's a closet Packers fan.
Okay.
He'll sit there and say that he doesn't care. But every time they throw an incomplete pass, he'll be down there GD and everything. And
I'll tell you what, man. One of my fears was always like with Jones. I'm like, he better like San Diego State, for example. And he does, thankfully. But there are a lot of children that like you could be a fan of the Niners, and then you're like you could have a kid, and your kid could be like a huge Rams fan.
Well, it goes that way with lots of stuff. You could be a lawyer and you could want your kid to be a lawyer and keep pushing it 100%. On him. It's like he's going to be,
it's a fine line.
Yeah.
I'm screwed.
Just in life.
Well, yeah, just in life, but
or with Aaron, right?
With Aaron.
Well, no, you're not screwed with Aaron. I'm saying, but she likes the Eagles or she likes other teams.
Yeah.
And you, right. So,
so look, it could be worse. I don't hate the Eagles. I mean, I dislike the Eagles because of what they did to the Niners a couple of years ago. But again, I wasn't upset that they won the Super Bowl last year. I was actually happy because Aaron got to celebrate.
Right. What if Aaron was a diehard? What's the give me the diehard that would just eat you up inside?
Cowboys.
If she was a diehard Cowboys fan and they had, let's say, won the Super Bowl last year.
The Cowboys are,
you'd be like, I can't.
It'd be a problem.
For you, that would be worse than Seattle.
Yeah,
Seattle does nothing for me.
Okay.
There's the two teams in sports.
Yep.
That really it would be a problem.
Well, I'm assuming Lakers with the Warriors?
No. Lakers, look, I don't like the Lakers, but I don't have like this vitriol hate towards the Lakers.
I'm trying to think of your other team.
My brother is a diehard Lakers fan. There's two teams in all sports that I despise the most.
And they are?
It's the Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
And the Cowboys.
Of course. Yeah, how could we be so foolish?
I don't have this like ultimate hate towards the Cowboys that I do with the Dodgers. Dodgers take the number 1, number 2, and number 3 spots on my list.
What if Aaron was a diehard Dodger fan?
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked.
Simple as that?
It wouldn't even. There wouldn't even gone past
off the
ground. It wouldn't have gone past anything. Yeah.
You know what this means? Your child's 2 favorite teams are going to be the Dodgers and the Cowboys.
That will never happen.
Welcome to life.
Exactly.
That will never. That will never ever happen.
All right.
Because there's no chance in hell that our child would ever be a Cowboys fan to begin with, because Aaron also hates the Cowboys.
Well, let me just say this, and to put a bow on this whole theoretical, ridiculous conversation. The one thing I've learned with having my 6-year-old is kind of like Brent's point earlier about like he did it. And there's certain things you don't control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if he comes home one day,
I like this color.
I love the Cowboys. Like you do. Like, what do you mean you love the
You're
Cowboys?
like, oh no.
I know. All right. The wrap is on the other side. Kevin Acey, if you missed him from yesterday, 4:30, Aztecs pregame at 5, San Diego State, Stony Brook at 7 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Don't go anywhere.
This update's brought to you by Toyota of Poway in the heart of San Diego. The big news in the NFL today: The Cowboys are trading all-pro defensive end Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers for Kenny Clark and 2 first-round draft picks. Micah Parsons signed a mega deal with the Packers. He's going to be paid $47 million per year, making him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Padres have an off day today. They start a 3-game series with the Twins tomorrow night in Minnesota. They're 2 back of the Dodgers in the National League West. And tonight, 7 p.m. kickoff time, Aztecs start their football season at home against Stony Brook. 5 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Toyota of Poway has been voted San Diego's #1 Toyota dealer by USA Today, with APRs as low as 0% and tons of new Toyotas on the ground. There's no better time to buy now during the Labor Day sales event, only at Toyota of Poway in the heart of San Diego.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is the final hour, believe it or not, of John and Jim, because we have Aztec pregame at 5 and kickoff at 7:05, as Jim just told you about. We'll get to the wrap here momentarily. If you missed Kevin Acee, you'll hear him coming up at 4:30. So an hour to go here on John and Jim. Lot to react to. Padres off day. But as we typically do at 4 p.m., we get to the wrap, so let's do it.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
What's a bigger loss for Dallas sports fans, Micah Parsons or Luka Doncic?
Good question. I think I'm going to go with Luka on this one because I think Luka's a bigger star than Micah Parsons, because he can clearly affect the game more than Micah is a game wrecker.
Statement right there. That's an interesting conversation. You think Luka's more of a star within his sport than Micah's within his sport, or what do you?
I just think Luka internationally, and globally, is a bigger star than Micah Parsons.
That's because the NFL maybe.
And the thing with Micah Parsons is he's not a quarterback. If he was a quarterback, he would go to the quarterback over Luka. He's a defensive edge rusher.
I'll agree with you on Luka. I mean, I just think the NBA is a way more international game too, so I feel like it does resonate more potentially. I mean, NFL is such an American game, but you're right. The Luka moment felt bigger. Now that we've had an hour or two to digest it, I think the Luka moment in the trade felt bigger than the Micah moment in the trade for me. I think that's fair
because he was joining LeBron.
He was joining LeBron.
Micah, who's Micah joining?
Yeah, good point. I mean, Luka, that is massive. To the Lakers, I mean, that was massive. Massive. Next question.
Who's your current favorite in the NFC?
Still the Eagles. Eagles are still a favorite. Their roster is loaded. Until someone proves that they're better than them, they're still, I think, the favorites in the NFC. But watch out for the Packers. I mean, the Packers definitely made a big, bold statement today by trading for Micah Parsons. And I wouldn't be surprised if they vault up into the top tier of the NFC with the Eagles. I don't know who else I would put up there with them, but as of right now, it's, to me, Eagles on the top. They're in their own tier. Packers, I think, are right behind.
Here's the current Super Bowl odds. In the NFC, the shortest odds are Philadelphia. The shortest overall odds are Baltimore at plus 650, then Buffalo plus 750, then Philadelphia plus 750, then the Chiefs, and then tied at 12-1. The Packers and the Lions are tied at 12-1 odds to win the Super Bowl in 2026, the 2025 season. So the Packers are right there. They have the 5th shortest odds to win the Super Bowl.
We know that division's a gauntlet. So.
It's going to be a gauntlet. And I just think the NFC in general is going to be a challenge, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But yeah, Philadelphia remains the favorite. Next question.
Is tonight a must-win game for the Aztecs?
100% yes. You cannot lose to Stony Brook. And frankly, you can't just beat them by a point. You're going to need to put up some numbers tonight. So yeah, with all that, it's a 100% must-win game for the Aztecs.
Not a must-win game. I'm kidding. No, you have to win this game. You have to win this game. There's certain things in college football that are like prerequisites, and this would be among them. When you get your FCS team at home, you have to win the game. Although I do recognize that out of these 130 FBS teams, someone's losing to an FCS opponent. I promise you that. So you got to take care of business tonight at Snapdragon Stadium. Next question.
Is this weekend a must-win series for the Padres?
It's not a must-win series, but now you start your stretch of games and series against really bad teams. So you got to take advantage. And we are close to the end of the year. There's 28 games remaining.
28. That's it.
I mean, you're not going to get many more opportunities. And the opportunities that you do get, you got to take advantage of. I don't know who the Dodgers play this weekend, but
I want to say, don't tell me yet. I want to say someone average at home. Tell me if that's. I'll say average at home. You tell me what it actually.
I got.
Okay, they are playing. You're right. An average team at home. They're playing the Diamondbacks this week.
Okay, yeah, below average at home.
Yeah, Blake Snell's on the mound on Friday night against Zach Gallen with his 5.13 ERA.
Well, then let's go down this path. Assume the Dodgers win 2 of 3. That's completely fair, right? They could win more than that.
Yeah,
but assume they win 2 out of 3. Doesn't that mean you have to win 2 out of 3? Not must, but kind of.
Kind of. Yeah.
If you win 1 out of 3 and they win 2 out of 3, you're 4 back with the tiebreaker.
And
25
worse,
to play.
If the Dodgers sweep the Diamondbacks this weekend and you'd only take 2 or 3 from the Twins, now you're 3 back.
Exactly.
And you're really 4 back.
That's what I'm saying.
So you got to keep pace with the Dodgers if you want to win this division. So you're right. If the Dodgers win 2 or 3 this weekend, you have to at minimum win 2 or 3 against the Twins.
I completely agree with
and
that.
If the Dodgers sweep the Diamondbacks, kind of looking at, you got to start sweeping some teams maybe. Because if you don't, you already have to deal with that tiebreaker. You lost the tiebreaker. And if you only take 2 or 3, I mean, Mike Schill could spin it. We won a series. It's great. But if the Dodgers end up sweeping the Diamondbacks, I don't see that as being the case, but who knows? Now you're 3 back, but really 4 back.
Now the odds become long. The only caveat is what we talked about earlier, which is, listen, the 4 seed still does matter. Not to punt on a division today. That's ridiculous. Still August. But if you did win 2 out of 3, for example, this weekend, and the Dodgers swept the Diamondbacks, but the Cubs won just 1 of their next 3 games, I have no idea who they're playing. I'm assuming they're going home, or are they staying out west? I have no idea. Jim's going to look. So
they play the Rockies this weekend.
In Denver or at home?
No, on the road.
Okay, so they'll be in Denver this weekend. So, yeah, you got to win 2 out of 3, because I'm assuming the Cubs win 2 out of 3 and or the Dodgers win 2 out of 3 or more. Therefore, you got to win 2 out of 3 or more.
Yeah, those are the 2 teams that you're keeping to watch and scoreboard watching. I think the Mets you also have to keep an eye on, just because they're only 2.5 back now of you in the 5 seed.
Yep.
I'll watch what the Phillies are doing too. Those are the teams that you're watching.
I'm scoreboard watching, man. Mets hosting the Marlins, right? Phillies and Braves. I'm watching it all. Yep. I mean, it's about to be September, and the year ends earlier. There's, like you said, 28 games. There's not a lot of games remaining.
No.
It really isn't.
No, you got to put the pedal to the metal here.
Is it kind of weird? Like, they're 134 games into their year. Isn't that amazing to you? I mean, we cover it so obsessively, and we spend so much time on it. I can't believe we've covered it 134 regular season games this year.
It felt like the season just started, John.
Kind of, right?
It goes by very quickly. It goes by like that.
The days are long, but the years are short.
Because we do so much content around this Padres team.
I know.
It's like every single day, and then you look up and you go, "Wait, it's September? What?"
Is there anything today that has transpired? Merrill, King?
No,
nothing. Just a quiet. It makes sense. Off day.
Yeah, I don't think
not a lot of reporting.
Think there's any reason to think that there should, but obviously tomorrow when Mike Schultz speaks to the media, hopefully we get that audio. We'll find out.
I think we will, because it's an earlier game, right? So we should have it during the show. I'm saying they play 5 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah,
in Minnesota.
I'm guessing they're taking advantage of their off day today.
I mean, they should be. They should, because you said they played 13 straight days.
Yep.
Yeah, they should be.
And in the middle of the dog days, or the end of the dog days, getting into the stretch run here, like, you got to be ready to go.
Yeah, like, it's a great point. I mean, this is it. 28 games remaining in the regular season for the Padres. And again, the series will get underway tomorrow in Minneapolis. Twins and Padres. All right. If you missed Kevin Acee, by the way, we caught up with Kevin after the series finale from Seattle. Padres rallied from 4-0 down, but ended up losing 4-3. If you missed that conversation, you'll hear it coming up at 4:30. We'll get to Jim's back page later in the hour. And again, our Aztec pregame coverage is going to begin at 5 p.m. We'll get back to the Aztecs on the other side. Year 2 for Sean Lewis at San Diego State. Year 1 for Jaden Denigal under center. Tonight will be his first career start. In fact, won a national championship at Michigan 2 years ago. Has not started yet, though, in college. First career start for Jaden Denigal. What are the expectations for him and Sean Lewis in year 2. We'll discuss on the other side, plus Kevin AC at 4:30. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Kevin AC, if you missed it, coming up at 4:30, Aztecs tonight against Stony Brook, year 2 for Sean Lewis. A very long offseason will come to an end within the next couple of hours. We'll see Jaden Danigal under center. We'll see a running back room with 3 San Diegans, by the way, in it, which I think is entirely unique in college football. Lucky Sutton will make the start here tonight, but everyone wants to see the offensive improvement. Right. The defense has a lot of returning parts. Hopefully the defense leads the way. Everyone wants to see the offensive improvement. Year 2, first career start for Jaden Denigal. I mean, what do you want to see tonight? You said you want to see 42 first half points.
I would prefer that over the
42.
latter. Yeah.
But I mean, okay. But realizing even 42 first half points is a lot of first half points. What do you want to see tonight? You know what I mean?
I want to see a lot of yards, a lot of points, and I want them to start fast. I think starting fast, it would be a very ideal situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe not the first drive. First drive would be great, but first quarter, you got to put up some points. Like I don't want to see this team go to halftime trailing 6-3 like they did last year.
Do you know a year ago? It's interesting you said that about the first drive. A year ago, they did not score a point on their first drive until the final game of the year. Scored a touchdown against Air Force. And it had been a very long time since they'd gone an entire season without scoring on a first drive. But yeah, they didn't score until the 12th game of their year on a first drive. So, I mean, I think the start fast thing is a good point.
Yeah, because you've dubbed this offense and the program Aztec Fast. They haven't really used that a lot, I feel like, this second year.
You're right. You're right.
I've not heard the term Aztec Fast a lot this year.
Maybe not as much as last year, yeah.
But people are clinging to what you said last year, which was Aztec Fast, and it was anything but, to be honest. So now, going into year 2, hopefully getting a fast start is something that this team does. What are you looking at?
Yeah, well, they actually do use the hashtag.
Okay.
In their tweets, Aztec Fast. I'm looking at the field. I was curious to see what the field would look like tonight. I haven't looked at the Wave or SDFC home schedules, as in I didn't know if we'd see like all the coloring. You know what I mean? Because sometimes in the end zones, I don't know what the particulars are. If there's also MLS.
They don't do MLS. They don't do that.
They don't do what?
Just the lines.
No, but I'm saying in college because it impacts MLS. Because then you can see through if you're using red and black paint.
Yes,
sometimes you see it during
that will
MLS
be seen.
games.
That will be seen during.
But there's
MLS
no MLS game this weekend.
No,
but I don't know if the Wave are home or not this weekend. But what I was going to say is the field looks like it's in great shape. It took water earlier today. I'm assuming they tarped it, but the field looks like it's in excellent shape. I talked to Darren Smith about this just the other day. He says it's played well for SDFC. I was down there 2 weeks ago for the. When were we there for FanFest? You were there that day too. I don't know if you were on the field that day. The field was in great shape 2 weeks ago. So the field looks good.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like turf.
Only grass field in the league, by the way.
Grass on plastic.
Grass on plastic. Only grass field in the entire 12-team Mountain West. It's becoming more rare
it looks
to
good.
play on grass. But yeah, it does look good. Looking forward to it. The rain has stopped. I'm excited to see Jaden Denigal. I really am.
Now, when are they going white out? Like against Boise, maybe? They haven't announced anything yet. But when would you go white out?
Oh, you're saying to wear the all white uniform?
Yeah, if they because I'm assuming they're probably going to try to have a whiteout this year, which would be cool. I don't know, maybe, who knows?
But they don't wear white at home. You can still have a whiteout without wearing white at home.
But they got these new white jerseys, the all white jerseys, and I'm thinking
wear them at home.
Wear them at home at least one day, right?
Yeah, maybe. I would think so. I'm excited to see new uniforms tonight.
Yeah, another thing there.
Here's another thing. Will Burt Emanuel, who's the backup quarterback, but a terrific athlete, who's had all this rushing success in his career, will he touch the field? If you're Sean Lewis, let's say you're up. Do you put Burt Emanuel on the field to then have film on how you use him?
It depends on what the score of the game is. If they're up by 30,
well, then he probably would be under center at some point.
Then he will be out there. But I don't know what to expect, dude. Burt Emanuel, we'll see him only if they're either, well, they're not going to be down by a lot. I'm not putting that out there. But if they're up by 25, 30,
then he'll be under center.
Yeah.
But would you use him just in your package?
Probably not.
Because he's your backup quarterback. And
I'm saving probably those plays for bigger games.
Yeah, next week. If you can, I agree with you. If it's possible to do that. I mean, you're at Washington State next week. They're going to be in the same league as these. Washington State and San Diego State will be in the same league.
Yeah.
They've got a first-year head coach. That's going to be a massive game. It really will. I mean, assuming you can get by tonight, that's going to be a big game next weekend.
But for Jaden Denigal tonight, to answer your question, I'm expecting him to, this is going to sound really stupid, but look like a quarterback. Make the throws, make the right reads, have pocket awareness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like wanting to see him look like a quarterback.
Let me ask you this: Do you want to see one thing we did not see last year from Danny? And you've heard I'm very infrequently going to be critical of Danny O'Neil. We haven't spent the whole offseason and be like it was on Danny O'Neil. He was a freshman quarterback. There was good and bad, just like with any player on a 3-9 team. But what I would say about Danny last year is he didn't run. A couple of reasons why I think he was a true freshman. He was smaller. He hurt his knee. He wore a brace for a lot of the year. But when I think about Sean Lewis's offense, the quarterback run game to me is probably a critical component. I wonder how that impacts this season, tonight and this year.
Yeah, the RPOs that are going to be used with Denegal in this offense.
Yeah, not just that and like a zone read, the right keepers, exactly, but I would imagine that Denegal will take on a pretty significant run game role, which is something Danny O'Neil did not take on a year ago.
Oh, I think 100%. The messaging to Jaden will be, if you don't see it, take off with your legs.
Right. Now be smart.
100%.
Protect yourself.
Yeah. But you have, the skills, and you're quick and you're fast, like read the lanes and protect yourself. But if you see an opening, like don't be afraid to take off.
Right. I'm fascinated to see it. I really am. And we'll see it tonight coming up at 7:05. Me and Rich Orenberger on the call.
Well, real quick.
And our pregame coverage begins at 5.
Real quick. You've watched this entire Boise
game.
USF first half.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give me your breakdown of what Boise looked like in the first half.
Rusty, like they're missing Ashton Genty.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Like it's hard to replace a guy that finished second in Heisman voting. I think they've already fumbled it a couple of times. I don't even know if Ashton Genty had 2 fumbles last year.
My guess is no.
Probably not. So, listen, Boise's supposed to be very good. They have a tough opener on the road against a team from the American. They're trailing at the half 10-7. So we'll see. Obviously, Boise, I think, is the front runner probably to reach the college football playoff out of the group of 5, but they're trailing tonight 10-7 in Tampa. All right. On the other side, if you missed our conversation with Kevin Acee after the loss to the Mariners yesterday, you'll hear it coming up. Jim's back page coming up at 4:45. Stay with us on John and Jim. All right, guys, it is John and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. And we've been telling you the hotel and spa at Jamul Casino Resort is now open. It's the next level of luxury. It's arrived. You can treat yourself to a stunning new stay. They've got the rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, and all the thrills of Jamul Casino Resort now all in one unforgettable destination.
And now open is Jamul 23 with endless dining every day. You can savor San Diego's ultimate endless dining experience at Jamul 23, from their world famous lobster brunch served every morning to their VIP endless dining experiences each evening, indulgent chef curated specialties, fresh seafood, prime cuts, and decadent desserts, all with stunning panoramic views.
They have terrific food over at Jamul. You can catch all the sports action as well at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. Experience the ultimate sports showdown. You can catch the Padres there live, plus the great food over there as well. It's at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, where fandom meets fantastic. All of that at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
All right, this update's brought to you by Toyota of Poway in the heart of San Diego. The big news in the NFL today, Micah Parsons was traded from the Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round draft picks and Kenny Clark. Micah Parsons then signed the richest contract, non-quarterback in the NFL. He's making $47 million. It's a 4-year, $188 million deal. 136 of that is guaranteed. Padres have an off day today. They travel or are in Minnesota right now to start a 3-game series with the Twins tomorrow night. They trail the Dodgers by 2 games in the National League West. And tonight, 7 p.m. kickoff time, Aztecs open up their football season at home against Stony Brook. 5 p.m. is when our pregame coverage starts. You can listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Toyota of Poway has been voted San Diego's #1 Toyota dealer by USA Today, with the APRs as low as 0% and tons of new Toyotas on the ground. There's nothing better and no better time to buy during the Labor Day sales event. Only at Toyota of Poway in the heart of San Diego. All right, back here on John and Jim. John is on his way to Snapdragon Stadium to get ready to call tonight's game between San Diego State and Stony Brook. Of course, 7 p.m. kickoff time there. Our pregame coverage starts in about 30 minutes live from down at the tailgate lot at Snapdragon Stadium. Fletch and J.R. Tolver will be having the pregame show for you tonight. So if you go down to the Aztecs game and you're at the tailgate lot, go and say hi to Fletch and J.R. They'll be there for the first 2 hours leading up to kickoff at 7 p.m. All right, so Kevin Acee joined us yesterday after the Padres lost the series finale against the Seattle Mariners. Padres will be in Minnesota tomorrow night to start a 3-game series, and we had Kevin on the show yesterday. If you missed it, we'll bring back this conversation for you right now. We start the conversation with the Padres and their second starter right now being completely up in the air.
You know, my first reaction, and it's something I've written about the last 2 days, so my first reaction is pretty concerned, like really concerned. And if I take a step back, I guess, then my preliminary reaction to that, and I haven't really kind of looked around to do that, but it's like, how many teams have 3 starters? And aren't we pretty confident that one of these guys is going to, like Michael King, right? Yu Darvish, who, you know, doing better, except for, you know, Eugenio Suarez throwing him a cutter down the middle. They're going to have 2 solid starters, and then they've got this really good bullpen. And so, yeah, super concerned. But then, wait, I'm not saying that it's going to doom them, I guess, is what I'll say at this point. But absolutely, we should be talking about this until they show us that it's not going to be a concern in the postseason.
So we did the numbers after the game today, Kevin. And right now they said the 5 seed. Ooh. They're 2.5 back of the Cubs and they're 1.5 back of the Dodgers. But this year against playoff teams on the road in series, they're 1-9. They're 9-22 against playoff teams on the road this year. It kind of lends you to believe like they got to get a home playoff series if in the wild card round here to make you feel confident. Because right now on the road against playoff caliber teams, they're not good.
Yes, you guys are correct. I mean, yes, like that's one of those that I think is a really good stat because a lot of times, like I'll push back on it just based on that we don't know what's going to happen in the postseason. But like this one's hard to get around. Like, and it just happened now. So you're talking about a month until the playoffs start, really. And yeah, that's something. Now, I bet you, much like this series, you could go back in a lot of those and take a look at who the starters were, take a look at where the games turned. And I'm not trying to make excuses for the Padres, but things do change in the postseason. And provided that they do find themselves another starter or 2, as in find themselves as in those starters step up, then I'm going to start to diminish that. But you know what I'm saying? Like JP Sears ain't starting in the postseason.
Right.
And they scored 6 runs off of, you know, Bryce Miller's a pretty good pitcher. I mean, he's coming back from some elbow issues, but like he's a pretty good pitcher. This bullpen is kick ass. The Mariners are a really good team. And like, this is not the old Safeco, evidently. This is not the T-Mobile that we know, right? Like these guys are crushing. And like, if Suarez is going to get hot, like, man. So like, yes, that is a great stat, and it's definitely something, and we should be doing this because we're talking about and covering a playoff team, and we've got to look at that stuff. But like, again, like JP Sears, you know, and then I bet you I could go back, and I will tonight, because I have a flight, and look at where did those series turn? Did they really get their ass kicked like in those series, or like could there be a ray of hope there?
I mean, it is interesting though. It does speak to the fact that, like, man, the difference in the 5 seed or anything higher,
like just from the confidence level,
like just that, like walk down this path with us for a second, Kevin. Like if you're the 5 seed, very possible, and actually likely as we sit here today, because they're in the 5 spot, so they're more likely than not to be the 5 than anything else. But as the 5, your road series followed by no home field advantage, followed by no home field advantage in all likelihood. And then followed by no home field advantage in all likelihood. Again, we've seen magic happen in October. It's anything is possible, but man, just 1 seed, it seems like makes it that much more unlikely to have that special October.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, without a doubt, I would have to go back and, you know, I'm just big on context. I'd have to go back and look how many Texas Rangers were there, you know? But to your point, you don't get to count on the magic. The magic is what we remember. Yep. You don't get to count on that. Usually it is the higher seed. Usually it is the home field advantage that helps you out. So could not agree more.
How's Xander Bogaerts? He Schultz said post game he was going to come out of that game the next inning if they tied it up. Did not look good there for him. How's he doing so far?
You know, I talked to him afterward, and I got like a mixed bag. I didn't have the results yet, but he was walking good. But he, you know, really felt. I thought like he was in a fair amount of pain, but he said he felt better than he thought he should. And I don't know that any of that means anything until they get the imaging back. He said he does not expect to miss time. We all know that doesn't mean anything when a player says that. So I really don't have a reliable update for you other than to say, like, I don't know, if you saw him after the game, you would think, oh, okay, he's going to be all right. Like there was no boot. There was no, like, I saw that, yes, there was a mark there, but there wasn't like swelling. He was going to put his regular shoes on and, you know, so I guess we'll wait and see. At this point, I think he's going to be okay. But man, that guy's taken kind of a beating lately.
He really has. Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. All right. So I guess 2-part question. Is the expectation Merrill returns this weekend? And regardless, when he does return, who becomes the odd man out in this lineup moving forward?
Well, I think it's probably Gavin Sheets. You know what I mean? Now, guy's pretty hot.
Right. Yeah.
So that's interesting. And it has to be a part of today's, conversation, given that Arise got the day off and Laureano batted second and all that. It has to be a part of that conversation. Like, okay, we got maybe a couple 3 games left. Because the answer to your question is, look, Jackson seems to be fine, like in terms of in comparison to what he was. I'm not saying he's moving or walking or working 100%, but he seems to be trending toward sometime in Minneapolis playing against the Twins. And so we have something to look at here. Gosh, guys, I mean, I really don't know. I got to tell you, like, I'm in the process of, I stepped away from writing that, like, all indications are Mike's not moving Arise down and might not be moving Laureano up because he likes how this team is playing offense. I don't know. Maybe they'll get saved and Xander Bogaerts will be out, though he doesn't play the outfield. So I guess that really doesn't help. Because I don't know, man, because we all know that this worked out really well because there was an injury. And I'm not at all saying that Jackson Merrill should not be in this lineup. I'm just saying, look at what they did this week without him, or the last, 2 weeks without him, with Gavin Sheets. And I honestly don't know. If you guys got any suggestions, maybe you could text me later, because I really don't know where they're going to go with this in a couple of days.
Well, we have suggestions. It's just that the suggestions are things that like we've said, we don't think Mike Schill will do.
Right.
So
okay, and that's where like I'm kind of dealing in reality, and
Right,
I'm like, I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. I think we're going to go back to where we were. I will say this: Mike gets to make the lineup. That is something that I will adamantly make sure that everyone understands that AJ Preller does not dictate that. AJ and other people do talk with Mike all the time. And so I will say maybe there's going to be a change in terms of certain people getting a little more playing time because Gavin Sheets has certainly earned it. Ryan O'Hearn has certainly earned it. But Mike is – I don't want to make this a bad thing because, honest to God, if you had to bet your life on someone on this team getting 3 hits tomorrow, who would you pick? Bet your life.
I mean, honestly, I might go
Elias Diaz.
No, I might go Laureano before Rise.
I'd go Rise. Sorry. I know. I get it. I mean, I get it. He's had 39 0-hit games, which is on pace to shatter his personal best or worst, whatever. But if you told me that, like, it was over for me tomorrow if one Padre doesn't get 3 hits, I'd still pick a Rise. Now, I'm not saying that alone, but, like, Mike Schilt values what this guy brings. I just don't see there being a change there. I just don't.
I think we'd all be dead. There's a very good chance. Right? I mean, there's a very good chance nobody has 3 hits. Right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're right. That is a relative conversation, and that's why part of why I pick a Rise is like, who the heck do you want me to pick?
Right.
I mean, no, like I think Ramon Laureano could get a double and a homer, but if you're asking me who's going to get 3 singles tomorrow,
that's a good point.
All right, Kevin.
So I'm just trying to, like, I know that's how Mike sees it a little bit too. We haven't had that exact conversation, but like that's how Mike sees it, and so I'm just trying to deal in reality, and I don't see a change. So, yeah.
Can you see a world where the Padres do win the division if Manny does not have a relatively good September?
Okay, my answer is no. But wouldn't we have been far more emphatic about that before recently with the way that the bottom of the lineup and some other people, Ryan O'Hearn, had picked it up, maybe even Tatis a little bit. But I still say no. I don't know what you guys think, but I still say that guy's the straw that stirs the drink.
We said no.
I mean, they've had a good month of August. Like, there's no denying they've had a good month.
15-10.
I think it's 15-10.
Yeah.
Could be wrong on that, but 15-10 in August, that's a good month. But we all know if you go 15-10 in September, the likely chance of you winning the division not very high, especially with how many teams the Dodgers play that are also bad. So it's like, that might be a good month to make the postseason, obviously, but to get where they want to get to as far as seeding goes, 4 seed or a division, kind of feels like Manny needs to have a hot September.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that's why it's like, man, like I'll be writing tomorrow about the bottom of the order and how that's changed things and that, they're surviving with, some guys maybe not getting it done because of that. And it really has been super impressive. And I think it does make them a more dangerous team in the postseason. But yeah, Manny's still the guy. And, look, Brian Wu's magic. I mean, that guy throws in the strike zone and makes people, I mean, it's crazy. Like that the Padres were the first team to get him out before 6 innings. That's incredible. But like, I guess what I'm saying is like, I'm not going to just go off today where Manny just did not look good. He has not really looked good and he's been missing a lot of pitches he should hit.
Real quick, Kevin. So just to follow up. So Merrill, expectation maybe this weekend. What about the expectation with Michael King from a timing perspective?
So I'm thinking like Saturday or Sunday is going to be the simulated game. Is what I'm led to believe after he did his bullpen today. So that even rules out Baltimore. And you're bringing this guy back in Colorado. Like I'm utterly confused now. So like,
yeah,
he could come back Wednesday if he does a simulated game on Friday. Other than that, when is he coming back? Because you're bringing this guy back to pitch at Coors Field. That's not cool.
Yeah, that doesn't set up extremely well, you wouldn't think. And again, the ramp up is going to be pretty short. I mean, this season's going to be over in 1 month. Kevin, safe travels. We'll catch up with you on Friday from Minneapolis, St. Paul. We appreciate you doing it.
Right on. Take care.
All right, that was Kevin Acee yesterday with us. All right, we'll wrap up the show coming up next with my back page and get you ready for some Aztecs pregame as they take on Stony Brook tonight at 7 p.m. Stay with us right here on John and Jim. All right, back here on John and Jim. Aztecs pregame coming up here at the top of the hour with Fletch and Jared Tolver down at the tailgate lot at Snapdragon Stadium. So Jerry Jones is speaking to the media right now. And I'm reading some quotes that are coming out from Jerry, and let's just say it's not going well for Jerry Jones. Some of these quotes are incredible. First up, Jerry, we did think it was in the best interest of our organization. We gained a Pro Bowl player in an area that we had concerns in. Huh? What? You also lost an all-pro player that's twice the player Kenny Clark is at probably the most important position on your defense, which is edge rusher. Okay. But here's the quote that I'm just reading right now that was said moments ago by Jerry that I don't think Cowboys fans are going to particularly like, Brent. Quote, I really like Micah. I appreciate the 4 years we had him here. He's a great player, no question. I could have signed him in April. This was by design. I did make Micah an offer and it wasn't accepted, and I honored that fact that it wasn't done how he wanted through an agent. Dude. Also, Ian Rappaport is reporting here that it looks like Micah Parsons earlier today went to the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, and they wanted to work out a contract extension. It says here, quote from Jane Slater. I spoke with Micah Parsons this evening. He says he's, quote, genuinely gonna miss y'all. He said he and his team went back to the Cowboys about an extension with, quote, empathy when the trade interest was leaked earlier this week. The Cowboys' response, according to Parsons, was, quote, play on the 5th year or leave. Okay. Ian Rappaport says that the Cowboys had a chance to stop the deal and negotiate with Micah Parsons. They declined. Essentially, Jerry got butthurt and he didn't like Micah's agent and said, screw it. I don't like your agent. We're trading you. What a dumb way to do business. What an absolutely idiotic way to do business. I am so glad I'm not a Cowboys fan. Quote, there's no question I could have signed him in April. Well, you didn't. You didn't sign him in April. So the pie's on your face, Jerry. Egg's on your face here. You don't trade one of the best, just flat out players in the NFL because you don't like their agent. That's not a good reason to trade Micah Parsons. And now he's trying to polish this turd by saying that Kenny Clark is the exact type of player they need to stop the run this year. He is beyond clueless, man. He is beyond clueless. I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan, oh man, the day that Jerry Jones is not in charge of this organization anymore, I'm sure will make a lot of people very happy. I didn't even ask you, Brent. I know you're getting in touch with Fletch down at Snapdragon Stadium. I don't know the out time because we need to be out hard here. So if you could just tell me, that's what
the music's for.
Okay, I just wanted to know because I know we have to get the pregame here at 5. Do we have time to do a story from the back page or probably not?
Yeah, you can do one.
Okay, let's get to it then.
I didn't know if you're going to do it, so I wasn't ready.
I'll keep it sports related here on the back page quickly. And it has to do with Snapdragon Stadium because earlier today, it was announced that the 46th annual Holiday Bowl will kick off on Friday, January 2nd at 5 p.m. at Snapdragon Stadium. It is the 46th annual Holiday Bowl that will take place on Friday, January 6th, with kickoff time set at 5 p.m. at Snapdragon Stadium. For the first time in its decade-long history, the Holiday Bowl will be played after New Year's Day. So that's an interesting little twist here. The game in January will match up the best teams from the ACC against the former teams from the Pac-12. Okay. Holiday Bowl usually is, this is a pretty late kickoff for the Holiday Bowl, January 2nd on a Friday, but still, there you go. The Holiday Bowl officially kicks off on January 2nd at Snapdragon Stadium. And finally, Taco Bell, Brent, is taking us back to Y2K with an entire menu that brings back the Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Tacos and Caramel Apple Empanadas. The Y2K Decades menu drops on September 9th and also includes the Chili Cheese Burrito, a double-decker taco, and a 7-layer burrito. Problem is, these aren't 90s Y2K prices. Like, you're not getting a taco for 99 cents.
And a lot of those things are stuff that it's already been put back on the menu. Some of those, like the double decker taco, they just put that back on the menu like 6 months ago.
Yep.
So some of it is just like, it's not new. They're just saying it's back when it's been back.
Now, the caramel apple empanada is not on the menu currently, but it is coming back. It's one of those oldies, but nostalgic items from Taco Bell. So there you go. The Decades Y2K Plus menu returning to Taco Bell coming September 9th. Some of these quotes, I'm just going back to Jerry Jones here real quick. Quote, it takes many players to win in the NFL. You do have to allocate your resources, draft picks, and finances. There's no question in our mind that Micah could bring us a lot of resources in a trade. As it turns out, all the publicity around not having a contract, you did your part in making sure it was known that he was potentially available, and I appreciate that. Wow. Did he just blame the media?
I think this is the same with the Luka thing real quick. It's going to be one of those things that we'll see in like 5 years. You know, right now, Dallas looks horrible for the Luka deal, but 5 years from now, if he doesn't even sniff a Western Conference final with the Lakers, is it really that bad anymore? Same with Micah. If they don't sniff like an NFC championship game.
And Dallas got Cooper Flag, so that the whole thing has to play out. All right, coming up next, Aztecs pregame.
Arch Manning, here we come.
Oh my goodness. Of course, Jerry would love that. All right, pregame show coming up next with Fletch and J.R. Tolver, bringing you up to kickoff at 7 p.m. with Rich and John on the call. Enjoy the game. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760.